John Kernan has more.
Jerry, of those three divers that you can see on the front cover of this year's Mountain Dew Southern 500 program that the fans are buying in the stands, find a good omen today. It could be worth $100,000. The bonus, the consolation prize. Of course, the Winston Million, winning 3 of the Big 4. If you win 2 of the Big 4, you get $100,000. Dale Jarrett, of course, eligible by winning the Daytona 500. Dale Earnhardt winning the Coca-Cola 600. And Ernie Irvan by winning the Winston 500 at Talladega. Now, Bob mentioned that Ernie had changed teams. He moved over into the Robert Yates number 28 Ford, but the honor stays with the driver. So Ernie is eligible for the $100,000 bonus if he can come away with the win today. And Ned and Benny, this is what an awesome responsibility to have that pressure on these drivers' shoulders here at such a very, very tough racetrack.
Boy, John, you're right. What a tough racetrack it is. The surface, Ned, just about worn out. Nothing but stones. It's very porous. They wear the tires badly.
Well, the tires do wear out very quickly here because of the worn pavement, and to add to that, all the rain that we've had here today. Of course, they had some rubber buildup on Friday in practice and qualifying, and then in the Gatorade 200 yesterday, but all of that has been washed away. I think it's somewhat of a guessing game as to how you set the chassis up. It'll be interesting to see who hit it right as we go on this green track here this afternoon.
And tires, folks, we're talking about tires wearing out probably in 35, 40 laps, and it's not the tires. Don't get us wrong, it's just the surface is very, very porous. And next year, they're going to change the racetrack. They're going to put the stands on the back, and they got the competitors have to put up with this racetrack 2 more races in 1995. It will be completely resurfaced and changed, but they've got to put up with it for 3 more races.
Now, Goodyear mounted a lot of tires here for this race, didn't they? You did a little numerology on that.
1,900 tires they mounted, $272 a piece. I mean, 2,000 tires is 500. What is that? 270, $540,000 worth of tires, and you knock 100 off of that times $272. That's $27,000. $513,000 worth of tires they're going to use this afternoon.
Wow. Well, we're getting ready for it. It's going to be exciting here at Darlington.
And the pace car has its lights on. The cars have been fired. In just a few moments, the cars will go onto the racetrack for a couple of warm-up laps, and then we should get underway with the Mountain Dew Southern 500. Speed World coverage is being brought to you by Pontiac and your nearby Pontiac dealers who are driving excitement. By AC Delco Automotive Parts. AC Delco, it's like buying time. And by Smooth Busch Beer and Easy Drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR. The cars are on the racetrack, and we will have 1 more to go, and then they will start counting the laps, but it will be under caution. They will not be racing until a few more laps, until the track is completely dried out. We are at Darlington International Raceway, the track too tough to tame. It's 1.366 miles in length. The pole speed was 161.2, time 30.495 seconds. We'll go 367 laps, and the field is separated by 10 miles per hour. Darlington Raceway is not a true oval. It's sharper in 1 and 2, and the turns in 1 and 2 are banked at 25 degrees. The backstretch is 1,228 feet in length. Turns 3 and 4 are banked 2 degrees less than 1 and 2 at 23 degrees. And then the front stretch is also 1,228 feet in length.
And not one easy foot on this racetrack all the way around.
Field moving through turn number 3 now. You can see at the top of the track, at least, we do have some gray showing, and the track is dry, but they're going to continue to dry the track and pit road before we get the green flag and racing. We will have a yellow and green condition as they come around this time.
I think that's exactly the problem we have right now is pit road where the cars were lined up in stage. That is very, very wet. NASCAR needs to get some of that water off before we can go. There we see them with the brush trying to get some of that water off before we can go green flag racing.
There is the green and the yellow. Say they'll now begin to count the 367 laps. And here is the AC Delco starting lineup for the 44th Mountain Dew Southern 500. The pole sitter is Ken Schrader from Fenton, Missouri in the Kodiak Chevrolet, car number 25, 161.259. Harry Gant from Taylorsville, North Carolina in the number 33 Skull Bandit Chevrolet is alongside. The second row, Bobby Labonte, the rookie from Corpus Christi, Texas, in the Maxwell House Coffee Ford number 22. And then NASCAR's hottest, Batesville, Arkansas's Mark Martin in the Valvoline Ford, car number 6. Derek Cope from Spanaway, Washington, starts 5th in the Bojangles Ford number 98. And then Dale Earnhardt in the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet, car number 3. Bill Elliott starts 7 in the 11 Budweiser Ford. Bill is from Dawsonville, Georgia. And then Rockbridge, Baths, Virginia's Skoal Classic Ford, driven by Rick Mass, car number 1. Sterling Marlin starts in 9th position in the Raybestos Brakes Ford, car number 8. And then Ernie Irvin in the number 28 Haviland Ford. Rusty Wallace goes 11th in the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac number 2. Alongside him will be Brett Bodine in the car number 26 Quaker State Ford. 13th starting spot, Greg Sachs from Mattituck, New York in the Country Time Ford number 68. And then car number 12, the Meineke Muffler Ford, driven by Berwick, Pennsylvania's Jimmy Spencer. Jeff Gordon starts 15th in the DuPont Auto Finishes Chevrolet, car number 24. Then Chesapeake, Virginia's Ricky Rudd in the Tide Chevrolet, car number 5. Factory Stores Ford number 75, belonging to Todd Bodine from Chemung, New York, starts 17th. Alongside him will be Ted Musgrave from Franklin, Wisconsin in the number 55 Jasper Engines Ford. Bobby Hillen is next in the Heilig Myers Ford, car number 90. Terry Labonte starts in 20th position in the Kellogg Chevrolet number 14. The 21st starting position goes to car number 21. That's Morgan Shepherd in the Citgo Ford. He's from Conover, Pennsylvania. And then in the Morgan McClure number 4, the Kodak Film Chevrolet, it will be Jeff Purvis. Continuing on with the starting lineup, Michael Waltrip and Jimmy Hensley. Dale Jarrett is back in row number 14 along with Kyle Petty. 15th row belongs to Jeff Bodine and Wally Dallenbach. Kenny Wallace, the other rookie contender, and Bobby Hamilton go in the 16th row. In the 17th row for today's Mountain Dew Southern 500 is Dave Marcus and Phil Parsons. Rick Wilson and Mike Skinner in the 18th row. Mike will be driving car number 52. Bob Schacht and Brad Teague in the 19th row. Jimmy Means in number 53, along with H.B. Bailey in the 20th row, completing the 40-car starting lineup.
And Bob, the Grand Marshal for this event is Mark Avent, chairman of the Carolina Pepsi Bottlers Association, and the honorary starter, Tom Smith, president and CEO of Food Line Incorporated.
There's Bob Schacht, the number 85 car, the Burger King Ford. That car unable to start, and we understand it is a battery problem. So the Burger Gal looks like they've got it going. So Bob Schacht starts off at a deficit here, but nevertheless will be able, it appears, to go out onto the racetrack and get in the race. Our in-car cameras are being carried today by Ricky Rudd in the Tide Chevrolet. Morgan Shepherd carries one for the Citgo Ford. And Mark Martin, going for 4 wins in a row in NASCAR Winston Cup competition, will also carry an in-car camera. He was victorious, as you saw earlier today and yesterday, in the Gatorade 200 Busch Grand National race here at Darlington yesterday. Back with more in a moment. Thanks.
They're saying here that that 85 car is not being allowed to start.
What now?
The 85 car is not being allowed to start. People are pushing back into the garage because it did not take the pace level.
Okay. Okay.
What's Rusty's story?
I don't know. So John will do that, and Jerry will do tires. Okay. Thank you, sir. It's all right. are back at Darlington, and here comes the real green flag. We are racing on lap number 6. Finally, the Mountain Dew Southern 500 is on in a 3-hour rain delay.
Again, get a little racy. Went on the outside of Mark Martin, made the pass. Comes Earnhardt.
Boy, he's been racing too, and that pass made it look awful easy.
Still Schrader the leader. Here's a battle between Sterling Marlin, also Rusty Wallace, and look at Jimmy Spencer move up.
Ooh, 3 abreast won't work in these corners, guys. Rusty Wallace knows that. He backed out. So it's too early in the race to be taking chances like that.
68, of course, is Greg Sachs. Here's Ernie Irvan moving up in the Haviland car.
And here comes Brett Bodine and Earnhardt trying to take over second place.
And Schrader continues to lead. It's Gant second, then Earnhardt, Martin. As we jump inside the car driven by Mark Martin. Earnhardt will go to second.
On the inside of Harry Gant. Now Mark Martin wants to follow. Now Harry Gant this time has to back off, doesn't he, Ned?
You would think so, and he does. Mark runs on up in there. Here comes Rick Mask by. Rick was awfully fast in practice yesterday. Felt good about his chances coming into this race. The Stoll Classic Ford #1.
Gant from second to fifth here in 1 lap.
That's the problem when you back off the gas just a little bit, give someone a break. 3 or 4 more guys take advantage of that break.
Now Gant tries to reel in Rick Mast again for 4th spot. Coming back there in 6th is Bobby Labonte. Then Brett Bodine, Ernie Irvan, Derek Copeland, Bill Elliott, and Morgan Shepherd makes it 3 wide into 1.
Goes around Jeff Gordon. Let them get in single file very quickly.
Same time, Rusty Wallace passed Jimmy Spencer as Mike came up in the car. And John Kernan, what's wrong with Rusty Wallace?
Well, they're having a problem on the radio. Rusty cannot talk to his crew, but he can hear them. So Buddy Parrott, the wily veteran crew chief that he is, says, hey, we'll just use hand signals when you come by the pits. If the car is loose, stick your hand out and touch the roof. If the car is tight, stick your hand out and touch the door. So they're going to use hand signals using the door and the roof so Rusty can communicate. And then if they do get a caution period, they'll check and see if it's something simple, if they can get it fixed.
Just like they did back in the old days, huh, Ned? Back in '65 when you won? Was that what you were doing?
Yeah, it was hand signals all the way. Here's the Jeff Purvis car, the former car of Ernie Irvan. Kyle Petty just passed Purvis the last time around. Now Dale Jarrett trying to move around him. But Purvis hanging right in there.
And Jimmy Hensley in the white #7.
I asked Jeff Purvis if he wasn't a little bit nervous about taking over the ride here at Darlington, such a tough racetrack. He said, certainly I am. I would love to go to Daytona, Talladega. What was I going to do? Tell him no?
No way. There's Morgan Shepherd, Jimmy Spencer. And here's a change of leadership as Dale Earnhardt slides to the inside of Ken Schrader in turn 4, and Earnhardt leads.
5 bonus points he's picked up here. That's what he was after. One thing that he was after. The next thing he'll be after as far as bonus points is concerned is to lead the most laps.
Tires could be a problem here this afternoon because of this porous surface at Darlington. Here's Jerry Punch.
And the strategy would have been to come in about lap 38 or 40 to change tires. That was prior to the rain. The rain washed all the rubber off the racetrack, and now it's going to be anybody's guess how long they can run. The coach said, look, we'll wait until the driver starts yelling and it's getting too slick out there. And when the first guy comes in, it's going to be following a leader because he cannot afford to stay out there on used tires and somebody else gets more pressure. Back up there.
Battles all over the racetrack. Here is Greg Sachs and Ricky Rudd involved in a duel. Now we're looking back on Rusty Wallace and Morgan Shepherd.
This is the rear bumper of Greg Sachs' car. There we see Sachs looking back from Ricky Rudd's car. I guess we're looking back from Rudd's car instead of Greg Sachs. And here goes Mark Martin. He takes over second spot.
Martin dropped back a little bit there on the first lap, but now beginning to pick up the pace. Sets in and feels how that Ford is working today. Looks like it's working okay.
And remember, last September, Ned, last Labor Day, Mark Martin's number 6 car was clearly the fastest car here, but he had to pit on the backstretch. He would go to the front, have to make a pit stop, and go to the back. And the race was delayed by rain, or actually was postponed by rain, shortened by rain. Darrell Waltrip ended up winning, but Mark Martin's 6 car was the class of the field.
Martin running in second spot. Pole sitter Ken Schrader, going for $7,600 in Unocal bonus money, is in third.
Guys, this is the 16th race this year that Dale Earnhardt has led at least one lap in the 22 races.
Not a bad record.
A lot of bonus points.
Yeah, for a guy who had such a great season last year.
Jerry Punch has the story on tires, I believe, down in the pits, right, Jerry?
Right, Benny. With the concern over tire wear, NASCAR in a move for safety, that's their primary concern is safety. They're going to put a caution flag out at 25 laps and let the drivers come down pit road and change tires. Now, a pit stop is not mandatory. I would think everyone would take advantage of it, but it is not a mandatory pit stop for that first safety caution flag coming out at lap 25.
Napa Field summary showing where your driver or favorite driver was last lap. We might mention that the 85 car of Bob Shack that was unable to start was not able to get onto the racetrack because he did not make the pace lap, and therefore the 85 car not eligible to run. Jeff Gordon looks to the inside.
Looks like the Sachs car, the car number 68, the Country Time car, is sliding up the track a little bit. There he goes up, and here comes Jeff Gordon right under, no problem in moving around.
And Rusty Wallace, meanwhile, working on Morgan Shepherd.
Take a look underneath Morgan, can't make the pass.
This is the battle for 14th spot.
Jeff Gordon, look how quickly he closed up on the back of Rusty Wallace. I'll tell you what, the DuPont car, remember in the spring how well he was running? He was involved in that crash going down to turn 1.
Got it working well again here in the Southern 500. But no change of position right now as Morgan Shepherd continues to hold on to 14th, then Wallace, and then Gordon. Jeff now looks to the inside of Rusty. You saw him waving to the pit crew.
Well, was he beating on the roof or was he beating on the door?
I don't think he was doing either one, to be honest. Gordon running right alongside Rusty as they come on the second corner down the backstretch. Todd Bodine there right behind them. Now behind Wallace. Jeff makes the pass.
Todd backed off, let Rusty get everything under control. Did not want to go in there and take any kind of chance. Next year at this time, Todd Bodine would have followed Jeff Gordon in that move.
21 laps completed. 367 is the length of the Mountain Dew Southern 500 from Darlington. We'll be back with more of our live coverage in just a moment. Dale Earnhardt leads right now. Okay.
Did I see some rain on those camera lenses?
Oh, Benny.
Oh, excuse me. Thank you.
Now look at Jeff Gordon.
Hey, Kyle Petty is moving up through the field.
Yeah, he and Dale.
Yeah.
ESPN Speed World bringing you live coverage of the Mountain Dew Southern 500 from Darlington. We're only 24 laps into this race. It was delayed 3 hours by rain. The leader there on the left is Dale Earnhardt. Then comes Mark Martin. The best battle on the track is for third position. Ken Schrader holds it right now, but Rick Mast in the number 1 is closing in.
He has moved up on the last several laps, Bob. Rick's car seems to be working very well today. Schrader's car sliding just a little bit in the turns.
There's Brett Bodine. He's moving up.
There you see the interval among the first 5, I should say. Mark Martin a little over a second behind. Ken Schrader about 2 seconds behind. And then Mast 2.5 behind. And Brett Bodine comes up to challenge Rick Mast.
Started 12th, and Brett Bodine now running 5th. So got the Quaker State Ford running well.
Here are 5 cars running together. Rusty Wallace a little loose coming out of the corner with the 21 car of Morgan Shepherd. Now we saw Rusty make a hand signal to the pits a few laps ago. John, what was he telling him?
Basically, he was acknowledging the fact that he was able to understand what Buddy Parrott had just told him. Buddy had said, we'll be pitting when the mandatory caution comes out in about 5 laps. And Rusty went by and just waved his hand and say, yeah, I heard you. Everything's okay.
All right, and Rusty is moving up as he goes to the inside of the 98 car driven by Derek Cope. And he goes into 13th.
And Derek Cope in the Bojangles car started 5th, so his car not to his liking today. Well, a lot of these guys are going to be looking forward to that first caution flag and that first pit stop to start making some adjustments.
Todd Bodine now begins to challenge.
And look here, it's a challenge also. Mark Martin about to take the lead from Dale Earnhardt.
And at the end of the backstretch, he has the preferred line, and Mark Martin gets the lead from Dale Earnhardt, and he too wants those 5 bonus points for leading a lap. Here he comes off the 4th corner, and he looks like he's going to lead lap number 28. He does.
I don't think Earnhardt wanted him to get those bonus points. It looked like that he would rather get Mark Martin back there, but there's no point in racing that hard at this stage of the race because we've got 340 laps to go before we can decide who wins this thing.
Mark Martin's super speedway record, 14 races at 93, 1 win, 6 top 5s. The win coming at Michigan.
Now, Brett Bodine has passed Rick Mast. We were talking about him a little bit ago. Brett Bodine has passed him and has caught Ken Schrader. Schrader running in 3rd, but Brett Bodine wants to take it away. He looks inside, but decides now's not the time to do it. He's going to wait a little bit.
The 26 car was in the news this week. They signed a deal with Larry Wallace, an engine builder in Charlotte, North Carolina, to supply engines for that car. And the caution flag is out.
The caution is out for, we presume, the mandatory pit stop. We don't see anybody in trouble. So this is undoubtedly for the pit stop that is being allowed these teams if they want it.
But to follow up on that, that is an Ernie Elliott engine in that 26 car. He will supply engines until the end of September.
First caution of the afternoon comes out on the 31st lap. Actually, this is the second caution since we actually started the race under caution because of the track conditions. Mark Martin, the Valvoline Ford, is leading with Earnhardt second, and now they will be coming in to have those tires checked.
And pit road is not completely dry, so that pit road speed of 55, 60 miles an hour is going to be very, very important. We can see the water there. These tires do not have tread. If they hit the water, it's like being on ice.
You can see the puddles that still exist there on pit road.
And every car that's pitted on the front, it looks like, is coming in to change tires.
Yeah, we will mention that the pits here are split. There are some on the front stretch and some on the back stretch. John Kernan is with Dale Earnhardt.
Dale Earnhardt had complained that the car was just a little bit loose, so they'll adjust the air pressure to try and tighten it up with these Goodyear radials. Tires coming off to smoking. Looking at the wear indicators, they don't look too bad. The right front tire did not look too bad, but the left side will be the telltale story here. Earnhardt with 4 on. Now let's go to Jerry Punch and Mark Martin's pit.
And they've already changed right side tires. They look to be in good shape. Left side tires going on. Mark Martin Valvoline Ford down off of Jackson away. He'll be the first car back out as Earnhardt will follow him. And then comes Ernie Irvan and the Quaker State car of Brett Bodine. So quick service here in the pits. Everyone getting 4 cars. Harry Gant, Rusty Wallace, Bill Elliott, Sterling Marlin and company, all headed back to turn 1.
Here you see the back pits, which are now becoming or are in a very busy mode. Kyle Petty moving out, so is Dale Jarrett.
Both of those cars already on the move, Bob. They have moved up into the top 20, coming to their starting positions of 27th and 28th.
And Jeff Bodine also moving back out onto the racetrack. We're under caution here at the Mountain Dew Southern 500 at Darlington Raceway in South Carolina. We'll be right back. Our pit summary will show you there were a couple of losers in that exchange. Mark Martin and Dale Earnhardt stayed the same. Ken Schrader lost 3 positions. Brett Bodine stayed the same. And Rick Mast also lost 3.
And it has taken a little bit of time to get squared away. Those that were pitting on the backstretch, some of them, Kyle Petty made an awfully good pit stop, gained a lot of position. We've talked about disadvantage pitting on the backstretch. Kyle Petty has come out in 5th position. He was running about 18th when he went in. Dale Jarrett went in running 20th, and he's in 8th position now.
We're trying every year and every week, as a matter of fact, to bring you the best coverage of auto racing here on ESPN, and there is our latest technique. That's a remote-controlled camera that this week is located on the outside of the second turn wall. And we'll be panning that camera, allowing you to see it. Here it is right now. We'll be panning it and allowing you to see the cars come through corner number 2 and then on to the back stretch. No cameraman could go there and be safe, and that's why it is remote controlled.
How far away is he remote controlling that camera is what I want to know.
Far enough.
Okay.
Green about to come out on lap 37. It's Mark Martin up front with Dale Earnhardt and Ernie Irvan.
And that's the question, is how well has Ernie Irvan adjusted this 28 car? Can he keep up with these cars in a very unfamiliar car? We'll find out right now.
The rain delay certainly did not affect the crowd. They are here. They are enjoying the early stages of the Mountain Dew Southern 500.
Started about 25 laps ago. Dale Earnhardt ran awfully well on those fresh tires. It looks like he's going to do the same thing again.
He moves by Mark Martin with ease in turn number 4, and Dale Earnhardt has gone back to the front, and now Ernie Irvan challenges Martin for second in turn 1.
Martin's car, I believe, is pushing a little bit tight with new tires on it. After the run a few laps, that should pick up and put him in good shape.
Good battle for third position here as Brett Bodine also would like to get ahead of Mark Martin, but cannot do so. Bodine in the Quaker State Ford remains in 4th, and no, we are not making a mistake. That is not Lake Speed in the 28 car that is running in 2nd position ahead of Mark Martin and Brett Bodine. It is Ernie Irvan. And Jerry Punch has more on Mark Martin's position in 3rd.
Ed, you're exactly right about Martin. He does have a bit of a push. Remember the beginning of the race, Martin's car faded for about 5 or 6, 7 laps and then began to come in. Steve Nielsen says he'll take our car about 5 to 10 laps to come in, get the tires set, and then we're going to come on. So right now he's losing a little ground, but 5 laps from now, he hopes to make it up.
And the telemetry will show you the top speed here at the end of the front stretch. Now got up to what, 177 or something like
179 miles an hour as he goes down in turn 1. Now he should be a little bit faster down in turn 1 than the backstretch. Let's see, 179, that's the speed we're looking for. 172 down the front stretch. 7 miles an hour difference. And we'll see that speed drop off as they put laps on these tires.
And here is Ernie Irvan wanting to lead his first lap in that Robert Gates Ford.
Looks like we've answered the question, huh, Ned?
Yeah, looks like he's done pretty well. Yeah.
Dale Jarrett trying to pass Ricky Rudd.
Ken Schrader just went by Rudd in turns 1 and 2. Now Jarrett moves around and coming off of turn 4.
And that's for 8th position. Irvan made a bid there in turn 2, but couldn't get the job done.
run coming off turn 4. Can he flat put it through this corner, get a run on Earnhardt, and pass him down the front straightaway? That might be a strategy. Yep. Looks like if he was trying to do that, he got a little bit too far behind, because he did close up on Dale Earnhardt as he went down in turn 1.
Third and fourth, Mark Martin and Brett Bodine. Kyle Petty running in 5th. He is pitting on the backstretch, as Ned told you. And now here's this 6 cars running together. Jeff Gordon, Rick Mast, Darrell Walter, Rusty Wallace, Bobby Labonte, and Harry Gant.
As we watch this battle, there's Gant coming down on the inside of Bobby Labonte, taking away a position. You mentioned Kyle Petty pitting on the backstretch as Rick Mast now makes a move on Darrell Waltrip. Jeff Bodine is pitted back there, and he is running in 6th position right now. So Bodine had a good pit stop as well in the photograph for him.
Harry Gant passes Darrell Waltrip, and Gant has a good run going, John Kernan.
Harry Gant's car was very, very loose. They made us some chassis adjustments and tightened it up, and it was also running very, very cool. Water temperature of only 175 degrees, so they had to put some more tape. Leo Jackson had to put a big strip of tape on that front grill for Harry Gant. Right now, the car is running about where they want it, but they will have to make some more adjustments to that race car. Still just a little bit tight.
There's Gant working the top side of the racetrack as Irvin continues to hound Dale Earnhardt, but so far Ernie has not been able to lead a lap.
Took a look as he came off turn 2, tried to pull on the inside of Earnhardt, couldn't make it work.
Got a good run going here. Let's see if he can in turn 1. Yes. Irvin last led at Michigan on the 15th of August. This is the 13th race where he has led at least 1 lap.
But Earnhardt's coming back.
Now, who's going to outbrave the other one going into this turn? Irvin backs off. Let's Earnhardt go. Now let's see if he'll slip up under and pull an Earnhardt trick here. He's going to try. He's trying it.
The crowd is loving it. Here they come off of turn 4.
And
now
look,
it's a 4-car race.
Yeah, it has allowed Mark Martin and Brett Bodine to catch up while they were racing side by side.
It's Earnhardt, Irvin, Mark Martin, Brett Bodine, and Kyle Petty, and the 17 car of Darrell Waltrip continues to lose positions. He is back to 20th at the moment. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment. Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, John Kernan, Dr. Jerry Punch back at Darlington Raceway in South Carolina. The Mountain Dew 500 is 50 laps completed. And it's Dale Earnhardt leading Ernie Irvin, Mark Martin, Brett Bodine, and Kyle Petty. And we might mention, here is Rusty Wallace passing the 24 car of Jeff Gordon, and that is for 11th position. We might mention that Dick Trickle has once again gone into a substitute, a relief driver role for Kenny Wallace.
And Kenny Wallace said this would be the last race that they would ask him to step aside for a relief driver. Starting with Richmond next week, he will complete the entire race.
And passes Jeff Gordon. There's Bobby Labonte now coming up on the back end of the DuPont Chevrolet.
Ooh, Dale Jarrett just slowed all of a sudden there. I don't know if he slipped or what happened, but he was up there battling with Jeff Bodine, and all of a sudden he just slipped pretty good.
Rick Mast passes him. Ricky Rudd closes in. We look from Rudd's perspective.
I don't see any smoke or anything, Ned.
I think he might have just gotten a little bit high coming off the turn 2 and lost a lot of time.
Looking to the inside at least in the front stretch, but not attempting the pass of Dale Jarrett at the moment. Dale, one of 3 drivers eligible for the $100,000 RJR bonus. The other 2 are Dale Earnhardt and Ernie Irvin.
They're both in front of him, going first and second.
And here's the interval from that position to the battle up front. And once again, Ernie Irvin tries to take the lead from Dale Earnhardt. He does at this point. Now, he did not, I don't believe he led at the line, which is where you need to lead to get the 5 bonus points. So Irvin has not yet picked up 5 bonus points. Rusty passing Ricky Rudd.
He's going down the back straightaway about halfway. Going in turn 3 now. And we see Harry Gant going by Ricky Rudd.
Rusty's now 10th, Gant 11th, Rudd 12th.
Look at Harry Gant use all that apron down in turn 4. Used to, that was strictly taboo. No one did that. But anymore, we see a lot of cars driving real low coming off turn 4.
Bobby Labonte is hanging in there after an excellent qualifying position that had him starting 3rd, and one of his rookie nemesis. There he is, Jeff Gordon, looking back on Jeff. Jeff leads the rookie points. This is from Ricky Rudd's car, looking back on both now, Gordon and Labonte.
Labonte closes up on the back of Jeff Gordon. And you know, if these guys were racing for 25th, I don't know what position they're racing for, but if they were racing for 25th, it would be a pretty good race between these two guys.
They're racing for 13th as it is, Benny.
Here's another rookie on your right hand of your screen. That is Todd Bodine. This is his, 3rd race in the Factory Stores of America car.
Having a good run here today.
Sure is.
Sterling Marlin. Sterling Marlin in the blue car right in front of him. Is that Michael Walker awfully high up there in front of them?
Yeah, with Bobby Hillin, I believe in it.
Yeah. The Pennzoil Pontiac, the number 30 car. Bobby Hillin in the Highland Tires Ford number 90.
Here's a battle for 3rd position. Brett Bodine all over Mark Martin. As up front, it is still Earnhardt and Irvin. Then a little bit of racetrack back to this 3rd and 4th.
Here comes Ernie on the inside taking a look. Now couldn't make the pass.
Another Napa field summary.
If we follow these cars through 1 and 2, you'll see all 3 of these Fords, Ernie Irvin, Mark Martin, and Brett Bodine, running almost the same line. And Dale Earnhardt running about a lane higher up in the corner. Watch as he go down the corner. Earnhardt's going to go right up to the wall, and Ernie's going to run in the middle of the racetrack. Also, Mark Martin and Brett Bodine are running in the same place that Ernie is running.
Remember when Earnhardt won the Trans-South 500 back here in the spring? As Ernie takes a look on the inside, he's going to make the pass. Now, will he slide up and Earnhardt dip back under him?
Yep.
Sure did. You know it's going to come. And he was riding high that day, Earnhardt was, when he won the Trans-South 500. He's got him a groove up there that works for him.
So Irvin has led at times during a lap, but he's never led at the line.
He's led, but he hasn't led. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Here he is alongside Earnhardt again on the backstretch.
Yeah, but Earnhardt do that same thing when he get up there to turn 3. Watch Earnhardt back on right there.
Yep.
Irvin will go in there, then Earnhardt drive right under him.
But meanwhile, Martin and Bodine have both caught Irvin and Earnhardt.
I tell you, the fans are going wild here. They're loving it.
They love it.
And here goes Ernie. He's going to try it down the front straightaway this time.
They have him.
Well, Earnhardt up there in his patented groove, though, hangs on.
Tenacious competitor, Dale Earnhardt.
Another same situation. Here we go. Ernie's got to back off a little bit. When Earnhardt backs off right here, you got to back off too.
Now Brett Bodine slips into 3rd under Mark Martin. And up front, same thing is happening. Here goes Earnhardt.
Oh, here comes Ernie. Back again. This is wonderful.
Yeah, it's good. And Brett Bodine is the silent partner of this battle.
I think Dale Earnhardt looked up in his mirror and said, uh-oh, uh-oh.
Oh,
That's a little nudge to say, Ernie, you didn't give me any room.
a little love tap.
Now, is Earnhardt going back to, no. He did go back to 3rd. I thought he was going back to 4th place in this deal. I think Ernie Irvin is going to lead a lap.
He's going to get those 5 points, yes.
Now, 179 he ran just a couple of laps ago. Let's see what he can run down the straightaway now.
Remember, he's in heavy traffic here. 70 was the top end before backing off and challenging Earnhardt for 3rd. side by side through the second corner. Mark Martin passes Dale Earnhardt.
I think that Earnhardt waved him by because I saw Mark Martin make a motion down the front straightaway to acknowledge some signal from Dale Earnhardt. And I would guess that Earnhardt said, go right ahead.
Guys, there's a car coming up behind these four right here. See that white car there? Ken Schrader just went around to Kyle Petty. He is gaining on that foursome up front.
So Schrader moves to fifth, and Kyle Petty is in sixth position. As 63 laps out of 367 have been completed, and Ken Schrader's car now appears to be one of the fastest on the racetrack. He's taken over fifth and has his sights set on fourth place running Dale Earnhardt. Good crowd remains on hand despite the fact that we had heavy rain here from about 9:15 until about 3. We are only 63 laps into this race, and we'll have more right after these messages. The Mountain Dew Southern 500 at Darlington being led by Ernie Irvan, whose last lap was 143.5 miles an hour. The average speed of the race with 2 cautions is 124.147. Irvan leads, Brett Bodine right on his bumper. Then comes Martin, Earnhardt, Schrader, and Petty. And there is the interval leaderboard. About 4.2 seconds separates the top 5. With just that much, 65 hundredths of a second, separating first and second. There the top 4. Here's the 5th place Ken Schrader, the pole sitter. Gann has just passed Bodine, Jeff Bodine, so that moves him into 8th position.
You got 2 Bodines in the top 10. Brett currently running second, and Jeff back in what, 9th spot now? 9th spot. There's 10th, Drake Mast. 11th and 12th is being contested right now. 11th is now Ricky Rudd, Bobby Labonte. Goes in the 12th, sends Dale Jarrett back to 13th.
Good shot of the Maxwell House Ford from Rudd's car.
And while we watch that, H.B. Bailey is coming. H.B. making one of his frequent appearances in NASCAR Winston Cup racing. Has a problem that they're working on, hoping to get back in the race.
HB always comes to Darlington. He's a member of the Unocal Darlington Record Club, always attends those meetings.
The old Texan. Show up anyplace else, will come to Darlington. Watching 11th, 12th, and 13th here. Back there in 14th position is Jeff Gordon.
Looking back from Ricky Rudd's car, there we see the cars going to turn 1 here to Darlington Raceway.
Guys, they've run about 40 laps since they came in and put those tires on. I would imagine there are some of them out there that wouldn't mind seeing a caution to get some pressure over on those cars.
But none of them really are wishing for a caution flag, because normally when you really say, man, I'd love to have a caution, it's you.
And you're into the wall.
Yeah.
Rudd, leading this group of cars, has won here at Darlington. He won the Trans-South 500 in 1991, and as we told you earlier during our rain delay, the Trans-South 500 becomes the Trans-South 400. 100 laps being shaved from the spring race here in Darlington beginning in 94. It is still Ernie Irvan up front, pursued closely by Brett Bodine. 2 Fords are up front in the Mountain Dew 500. As a matter of fact, the first 3 are Fords, as Mark Martin has 3rd.
Yeah, Mark Martin, don't let these guys get out of his sight. See, there he is. He's the 3rd place car. There's Dale Earnhardt. 5th place car, Schrader. Here comes Harry Gann and Rusty Wallace. This is a race for the 7th spot.
Yep.
Gann has just taken it away from Rusty.
Harry Gann has also won on this racetrack 4 times. He has won twice in the spring race, and twice has he won the Southern 500. And there's the interval between Rusty Wallace and the leader, Ernie Irvan. So 73 laps now completed. It is still Ernie Irvan up front. along with Brett Bodine, Mark Martin, Dale Earnhardt, and Ken Schrader, running 6 through 10 in the race at this point. Petty, Gant, Wallace, Bodine, and Mast. Top 5 and the interval between each. Brett Bodine about a half second behind Ernie Irvan. Mark Martin is almost a second behind. Dale Earnhardt 2.5, and Ken Schrader 5.5 seconds behind the leader, Ernie Irvan.
Schrader was gaining on the leaders there for a while, but now he doesn't appear to be. In fact, he might be losing a little bit.
Irvan now comes up on the car that he used to drive. As a matter of fact, drove for most of his Winston Cup career up until this weekend. He has taken over the 28 car, but he's about to come up and try to put a lap on the number 4, driven by Jeff Purvis.
Here we see Schrader, Kyle Petty going through. There's Harry Gant. Rusty Wallace went by. Rick Mast just passed Jeff Bodine a couple of laps ago. Now Ricky Rudd has caught Jeff. Takes a look on the inside. Meanwhile, Rick Wilson, the SDP Pontiac. See Dale Jarrett. He's seems to have his car handling a little bit better. He's adjusted his driving style to how his car is handling, and he's going back toward the front, Ned.
Yeah, he just passed Bobby Labonte, who got by him a little bit ago. And the 8 car, we're seeing those pit stops happen here right now. The Ray Bestis Ford of Sterling Marlin in. I'm sure it'll be a 4-tire change. I think just about every time they come in the pits today. Hey, had to jack it up just a little bit there and then let it down.
Lost considerable time there. Now they move to the left side.
We'll see other pit stops coming up pretty shortly here. I don't think we'll see him run. I don't think fuel mileage will be a problem here, as it looked like he choked the car coming out of the pits. The engine went dead. It's still.
I don't think that right rear is on. I don't think the right rear tire is on right. The tire's wobbling.
Yeah, you're right.
Mario, look, and Rachel, somebody down there, guys. Something wrong with that right rear.
And he is stopped in Ernie Irvan's pits.
What's that right rear, Ned? Is it?
Yeah, it looks
not
like
wobbling?
it looks like it is. I don't know. Now they're
The
pushing.
car isn't fired. They're trying to get it fired. But I agree, there appears to be something wrong with the right rear. Now they're spraying ether, as you can see, in the carburetor, trying to get it to fire. You don't suppose he was out of fuel, do you?
Sure looks that way.
I can't imagine that he would have been unless there's something wrong with the filler, because I was just about to say fuel mileage will not be a problem in this race because they'll come in for tires before they'll need fuel.
Now he's been stopped by the NASCAR official at the end of pit road.
Oh, man. This is a tough break. Let's go to the pits and John Kernan.
Well, the report we're getting now on Sterling Marlin, what a tough break for this team. These guys have had good runs only to have something bad luck happen to them. Well, apparently bad luck has bitten them once again. They have no fuel pressure, so apparently a fuel pump problem. So they're going to have to pull it behind the wall and check it out. And you got to really feel sorry for that Billy Stavola team.
Yeah, just one piece of bad luck after another for Sterling Marlin. So they're going to take that car behind the wall and try to get it fixed.
Someone yesterday in the Gatorade 200 had a fuel pump problem, and I mean, that just never happens on these race
It
cars.
was Todd Bodine, I believe.
It was Todd Bodine, that's right. As a matter of fact, Todd Bodine, that's him right in front of Ricky Rudd. He passed Ricky Rudd just a couple of laps ago. There he is. He has caught his big brother, Jeff Bodine. Look, he started 17th. He's currently 11th now. Make that 10th.
That was there and reflected as the highest. His lowest was on the 33rd lap just 50 ago, and when he was 26. Johnny's got a good run going.
Yeah, he sure does, Bob. And you know who he can thank for that? The driver he just passed. Now he goes after Rick Maston, looking at Rusty Wallace as they heard down to turn 1. He says that he feels very comfortable at this racetrack simply because in the Busch Grand National Circuit, Jeff, for so long, was his spotter. Jeff knew how to get around the racetrack, and by spotting for Todd, telling him how to get around this racetrack, he taught Todd how to go fast here. And of course, if you do that, you got to figure they're going to pass you sooner or later. And Todd has passed his big brother.
And now Jeff is saying, why'd I do that? You know what?
Exactly.
I'll tell you, Todd Bodine's car is hooked up.
Yeah.
And that's the key here, getting off these turns. And that Factory Stores of America Ford is hooked up now, and he's driving it well.
Interesting to see what his speed would be compared to the leader's speed, because he looks like he's as fast as anybody on the racetrack.
He really does. He is on the move. That's Todd Bodine we're talking about. Came through a bunch of good cars.
Should be seeing pit stops in maybe 5 or 6 laps from right now. Ernie Irvan continues to hang on to the lead. It is still Brett Bodine in second spot, but Mark Martin is right on his tail. Dale Earnhardt running fourth, followed by Ken Schrader after 86 laps.
Watch Hillen go by him like a rocket ship. He just pitted.
Yeah, that whole bunch of cars. He's coming in right now. The rest of
The sound you hear. Man, that top goes out here flying.
Yes, he is.
Let's just walk the corner.
Catch the power.
Passed him in one lap.
Kyle's car is totally gone.
Welcome back to live ESPN Speed World coverage of the Mountain Dew Southern 500 from Darlington. The Haviland Ford, car number 28, driven now by Ernie Irvan, has the lead. We're expecting pit stops while we were away in break. Rusty Wallace came off the racetrack from 9th position and made a stop.
And it was four new tires, Goodyear tires, and some Unocal gasoline. And here's the Greg Sachs Country Time Ford in for pit stop.
Pit road is still just a little bit wet in spots. You saw him slide the car into the pit stall. And here is the pole sitter, Ken Schrader, also coming down for a stop.
And we can see the Family Channel Ford going by. That's Jimmy Hensley. And John Kernan is down in the 25 car pit, John.
It'll be a 4-tire change for Ken Schrader. He's been one of the drivers who has complained about the car being just a little tight as he throws that cool cup of water out the window with a drink. Kenny had told me earlier during the rain delay he felt pretty confident about this race. In fact, you know how he races all over the country? They've got 4 tires and down away. How he races all over the country. Well, this week he actually has a week off until they get to Richmond.
That's amazing. The Family Channel Ford, driven by Jimmy Hensley, has completed the pit stop, and he goes back on the track. And now Kyle Petty comes in the Mellow Yellow Pontiac. Remember, he's on the backstretch.
Yeah, his car really started slipping and sliding, Bob. He was losing a good bit of speed on the racetrack, so they decided to better come in and get some tires on that car. We see that Rick Wilson is in as well, and here comes Brett Bodine into the pits, and Jimmy Spencer in the Meineke Muffler car. Here's Brett Bodine in the green car.
Keeping it under 55 miles an hour, bringing it down pit road. Brett finds his pits. Here they are, and Jerry Punch is there to report.
scheduled pit stop for Donnie Richardson and the Quaker State team. They will change right side and left side tires, expecting to see the 6 car and the 28 car come around in the next 2 laps and make an entry on the pit road. Lots of rubber in the grill in the front of the Quaker State Ford Thunderbird. They got left side tires. And now the Haviland Texaco team jump on the wall, expecting to see Ernie Irvan come down this time.
It'll be a 4-tire change for Dale Earnhardt. They're also going to try and tighten up Mark Martin on the top. Dale Earnhardt on the bottom of your screen. He's also taken a bit of tape off of the front grille. Andy Petrie and the crew swing around to the left side. Mark Martin and crew also likewise coming around to the left side. Earnhardt waiting. They drop the jack. He is down and away. Further down pit road. Mark Martin's crew is just finishing up. Mark still on pit road. He's off the jack now. 4-tire change. Ernie Irvan is headed down to Jerry Punch.
Here comes our leader, Ernie Irvan, bringing it in for his first scheduled stop under green. They will change all 4 tires, add full of fuel. Larry McReynolds told me they will make no adjustment whatsoever on the car. It's not loose, it's not tight. Ernie likes to try exactly the way it is, and obviously running awfully well. Left side tires going on. Joey Eccles left front. Left rear, one cuts in. Norman close to issue. Adding full of fuel. He is down and away.
Irvan takes the Haviland Ford off of pit road. Meanwhile, Todd Bodine and Ricky Rudd are in. Rudd is out already. The top of your screen is a there's a collision on pit road as Gant and Rudd come together.
And Gant was not able to get into his pit straight. Let's go to the pits and John Kernan.
Well, they are making Harry back up because he was over the line, and you should see the sheet metal damage on the left front where Ricky Rudd collided right in front of the driver's compartment. There will be sheet metal. Yeah, they're going to have to pull the sheet metal back from the left front fender. Had to wait for them to drop the jack. The left side's now going on. What a tough break for Harry Gant in this car. One of his favorite cars. They will pull back that sheet metal, and now they finally are down and away. But what a tough break for Harry Gant. They're going to have to watch that because it looks to me like it's still going to be rubbing.
Got quite a bit of damage there on the left side, and let's see how it happened. Now that's Gant coming down in the 33 car. Here comes Rudd out of the pits, and boom.
Wow.
Rudd
Tell you what, didn't do Ricky Rudd's car much good either, I'll tell you.
Here it is a little closer. There's the contact.
I would be surprised if it did knock the toe end out on the 5 car.
Jeff Gordon is the leader, Bob.
He is not pitted, so Jeff Gordon has picked up 5 bonus points.
But I'll tell you, he's losing a lot of time. He's losing over a second a lap to those that have already come in and made their pit stops.
It would be wise if Jeff Gordon brought the car in as soon as possible, but he does lead right now with 96 of the 367 laps completed. Ted Musgrave is running second, followed by Dave Marcus, Greg Sachs, and Brett Bodine.
The 26 car came down with the lead after all that.
Yep.
Simply because he stopped the last 2 throws.
Picked up a few seconds there. Jeff Gordon will be lucky not to be a lap down when he gets back up.
Going by Dale again. Are you ISOing that, Neil? Ernie Irvan just went by Earnhardt. Okay. Thank you, Mikey.
Thank you, Mikey boy. Yes, it was. Let's see.
He did indeed. We mentioned that he had stopped early.
So now who's leading? Brett?
It's a hard deal. I think that Rudd probably was the guy who drove out.
Yep, he drove out into the although that's what you do when you come out of when they drop the jack, you take off, come out.
And there was another car there.
Okay. Back at Darlington, where Brett Bodine on the left of your screen is the leader. Second is Irvin, and third is Dale Earnhardt. And the last time Brett Bodine led a lap was at Talladega in July. Now, for those of you tuning in for the ESPN premiere of Shop Talk, a program featuring Eli Gold and several guests. His guest this week was to have been Bill Elliott. Unfortunately, because of the rain delay, that program will not be seen at this time.
All right, here comes Ernie Irvin. Is he going to take the lead? He's going to try.
And look at that unbelievable statistic there. The speed before his pit stop and the speed after. He picked up 10 miles an hour with the fresh tires, and Earnhardt now trying to take away second from Brett.
Now, Brett stopped a few laps before these others did. That gave him, he made a good pit stop. That gave him the lead, but his tires has a couple of more laps on them at full speed than Irvin and Earnhardt, and it's beginning to show up right now as Mark Martin pulls up on him.
Martin takes a look on the down the back straightaway. Now, when they go in the corner, Martin should be able to drive under Brett Bodine. Let's see if that works out. No, didn't work that time. Now he's going to try it down the front straightaway because he's got a good grip. As we watch the Ford telemetry, that froze up. Yep. Fortunately, that was not Mark Martin's distributor or anything that froze up.
And look at Todd Bodine. He is just unbelievable.
He is really running well today in that Factory Stores of America car.
But he's being shown a lap down. So I don't know. Well, I don't know what kind of pit stop he might have had. So I don't know. That's something that we'll have to check on. But he is being shown a lap down. Don't know, if he had a problem in the pits. There were a lot of cars that were pitting about the same time.
The Kellogg's car there that just also went around Brett Bodine is also a lap down. This is from the top of Morgan Shepherd, Citgo Ford. Looking ahead to Brett Bodine.
There's a camera on the hood.
Oh, yeah.
The left front fender there.
How about that?
Huh.
There are 20 cars being shown on the lead lap now. And the last car that is being shown on the lead lap is the car number 41 of Phil Parsons.
Fourth and fifth here, Bodine and Shepherd.
Ooh, and to talk about Phil Parsons, he almost hit the wall coming off of turn 2, and he goes a lap down as we watch these rookies battle back there with Jeff Gordon and Bobby Labonte.
They are running 18th and 19th.
Jeff Gordon stretched his pit stop in the DuPont car, and that really cost him because these other cars, out there with the race tires, while he was out there with the one tires, he is almost a lap down. Ernie Irvin is about 100 yards behind him to put Jeff Gordon a lap down.
There's Ernie on the far right of your screen, and that's how close he is to lapping both Labonte and Gordon.
But now Jeff Gordon's tires are a little bit fresher than Ernie Irvin's. Maybe he'll be able to stay out there.
There he is.
I tell you what, I wondered how Ernie Irvin would take to this 28 car. It's like a duck in the water.
Yeah, I would say that he's doing rather well, but Todd Bodine, in my mind, is one of the stars of the early going here, John.
Yes, he is, Bob, but they had a little bit of misfortune when Ricky Rudd was in the pits. You saw him go out and hit here again. Also had run into the tire carrier for the 75 car, Donnie. He is okay, but they knocked the tires out of his hands, so they lost that lap here in the pits.
So that's the explanation on how Todd Bodine got a lap down. Again, for those of you tuning in, it's 5 o'clock Eastern time. For those of you tuning in to Shop Talk, a brand new program on ESPN. Unfortunately, we were 3 hours rain delayed in the Southern 500, and so Shop Talk will not be presented at this time. We've still got, well, we're only 107 laps into this 367-lap race, so a long way to go here in the Southern 500.
Bob, we saw Sterling Marlin when he made a pit stop having some problems that pushed the car, finally pushed it behind the wall, and the report was that it was a fuel pump problem. They've replaced the fuel pump, and he's back in the race now, but he's 26 laps down.
Bobby Hillin had pitted earlier. He was one of the early cars to pit, changed 4 tires, and we can see he's slower than some of the other cars, comparable cars that are passing him now.
can see Bobby Labonte and Jeff Gordon have both been able to stay on the lead lap. Here is the 98 car of Derek Cope moving to the inside of Dale Jarrett and Ricky Rudd trying to come along.
Well, Jarrett got caught coming off the floor. Gant got up under him because he was trying to pass Kyle Petty, and he's going to lose about 4 positions. I'm not sure if there. I know Gant is a position, and Ricky Rudd will be a position if he gets by. So he just got caught in the position there. They had to back off. Let's see if he pulls a Dale Earnhardt on Ricky Rudd here. No, he couldn't quite do it.
I saw Darrell Walters in the Western Auto car going slow down the back straightaway a couple of laps ago. I wonder if he's...
Well, he's out there in the 4th turn, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, but he's running down on the inside of the racetrack. He's letting cars pass him up on the outside. So Darrell Waltrip right now, it looks like somebody's getting the black flag. I believe that was
Mike Skinner.
Mike Skinner getting the black flag driving one of the Jimmy Means cars.
Looking back on Dale Jarrett, the Interstate Battery Chevrolet. Now here is Irvin to the inside of Labonte.
Trying to put a lap on Bobby Labonte. Does it.
But he slides up high and Labonte comes back.
I've seen Earnhardt do that. He said, I can try it too, and he does it. Just in case he could get a caution, you know, that make him work for it.
In the meantime, Dale Earnhardt and Mark Martin is closed up right on the back bumper of Ernie Irvin.
Ernie taking a look to the inside once again, this time in the 2nd corner and down the backstretch. Past Labonte. Let's see what Bobby does in the 3rd turn. Got a car up there that's going to mess things up. But look at Earnhardt go to the inside of Labonte.
Ernie slowed down a little bit going into that turn that time. Didn't let the car slide up with him. He's already been passed several times in that corner. He said, I'm not going to let it happen this time around.
111 laps have been completed here. The top 10 at the moment: Ernie Irvin, the leader, Dale Earnhardt, Mark Martin, Brett Bodine, and Ken Schrader. Running 6 through 10, Rusty Wallace, Jeff Bodine, Harry Gant, Kyle Petty, and Ricky Rudd. Right on cue.
They ain't pulling away from Todd Bodine too far, are they?
What did John say with Todd?
Oh, look at Todd. Huh? I'm sorry.
How did Todd get that lap down? What did he say?
Ricky Rudd ran into the tire change, tire carrier.
Ned, you're asking about the 75 car, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
When Ricky came into his pits, he hit the tire carrier, but he's okay. Knocked the tires loose. Bobby Hillen's in. Looks like they're having an overheating problem. They got a hose and are pumping water into the radiator. But yeah, the tire carrier, his name's Donnie. He's okay. It just knocked the tires out. Couldn't see it from where we were. We were running back and forth, so that's why we missed it down here. I don't know. You want me to go ask?
He's been running poorly since that first pit stop.
Yeah, the 21 car has been just extremely loose. He almost smacked the wall like several times about 20 laps before they did that, before they pitted.
Yeah, he's been loose up there and not into the track.
No, but he's running. He's really running fast. Yeah.
So confused. NASCAR Winston Cup racing on a Sunday afternoon, headed into evening. The Mountain Dew Southern 500. Mark Martin has just passed for 2nd position.
That's right. That wasn't for the lead, folks. We went to break. The 28 car was leading. No more. He's running 3rd. Dale Earnhardt's leading this baby right now.
There's Earnhardt to the left. And once again, Todd Bodine is running strong right behind Ernie Irvin, but he is a lap down. Bobby
Hillen, he pulled up on the back of Todd Bodine. Now, Hillen was in the pits with an overheating problem, he changed tires, so his car is much faster than the competition. He should be able to pass all these cars with ease.
Pretty well before he had to make that pit stop. He was running up there in the lead lap before then. See, he goes around Ernie Irvan there, as you say, with ease, Vinny, with those new tires on.
He's in 34th position. Here's Harry Gant, not being bothered a whole lot by the damage that his car sustained on pit road in a collision with Ricky Rudd. He passes the 7 car of Jimmy Hensley. Harry Gant is 8th. Yeah, and Hensley's a lap down.
In 28th.
The damage on that car is on the left side. We'll see it as he goes into the corner.
Jeff Bodine in the Motorcraft car. There was some speculation that Jeff Bodine would go to the 7 car this week and Lake Speed would drive this car. That's the 7th place car as we're seeing him now. But Jeff Bodine says that's Ford Motor Company's car. Motorcraft sponsors this car, and he hired on to drive that car, and as far as he's concerned, he'll be there the rest of the year.
Bud Lake has signed an agreement with Bud Moore to put him in the car in '94. There's Rusty Wallace in car number 2, the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac in 6th.
They're 6th, 7th, and 8th. Looks like he's handling a little bit better than it was before. All right, here Mark Martin has caught Earnhardt. This is for the lead. He took a look on me coming off the 2nd corner, didn't quite get up alongside, so he backed off, fell in behind Dale Earnhardt. Boy, this 6 car has been on a roll for the last month.
Won every race during the month of August and trying to extend the win streak into the month of September.
16 cars on the lead lap now. Jeff Gordon is running in 16th position.
We're still a little behind the race record at this moment. The average speed of the race is a little over 132 miles an hour, and the record is 135.4. Here's Jerry Punch.
Steve Meal told me that their strength today in the Valvoline Ford would be a long green flag run. He said their car is so easy on tires here at Darlington. That's going to be their ace in the hole. The longer they run into the green flag, the better their car is going to get, or basically going to stay consistent. Everyone else is going to be slowing down. And you now begin to see Mark creep a little closer and closer to the Earnhardt.
Mark Martin still pounding on the back bumper of Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt has won on this racetrack 8 times. Mark has never, and contact between Harry Gant and Jeff Bodine. They had quite a trading of paint there, didn't they?
They really did, as Gant continues to march towards the front in the Skoal Oldsmobile. Already gained on the left side. Now he's got some brushes on the right side because he and Bodine did win pretty good.
Here's Mark trying to take the lead from Dale Earnhardt. He pulls a half car length ahead at the end of the backstretch.
Man, did he get a good grip off that corner. Took the lead. Now is Earnhardt going to come back? He's going to try.
I don't think so.
He's going to try, Bob.
Mark wiggled a little bit, and that was enough for Earnhardt to get underneath him.
I think Mark tried to slow down going into that turn so he wouldn't slide up.
Yeah.
But Earnhardt built up a little momentum and just drove under there anyway.
And Ernie Irvan is right behind Mark Martin. They passed Dick Trickle driving the 40 car.
That was the 17 car.
Oh, was it? Waltrip is struggling.
He is struggling. Looks like he's running on 7 cylinders to me.
He has already dropped back to 34th position, being shown 2 laps behind the leaders. The winner last year, Darrell Waltrip, Western Auto Chevrolet.
And now once again, Jeff Purvis is about to be lapped. Here is Wallace and Gant.
Harry Gant has got by Jeff Bodine, the Motorcraft car. Now he's caught up with the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac, trying to get by Rusty Wallace. And watch how low Rusty ran through that corner, and high Harry ran.
Harry ran. You got to stop buying those dentures at Kmart. I tell you. Kmart's a great place, but you don't buy dentures there.
Okay, Harry Gant went by anyway, and he's still running high.
And he is now in 6th place. And he came out running about 12th to 13th after the round green flag pit stops.
NASCAR 33 Skoal Bandit of Harry Gant. Here's the interval from Gant back to the lead group of cars.
He's missed him.
There they are.
There they are.
Earnhardt and Martin, first and second. 127 laps out of 367 completed. Skies are brightening. It's going to be a beautiful evening in Darlington, South Carolina, after a morning and early afternoon of rain that's delayed this Southern 500.
Sorry, Mikey, I thought you'd missed him.
Oh, yeah, good. Yeah, we're doing all right. Seems like it should be more than that, but yes, John.
Darrell Waltrip's car sounds okay. What we've been hearing on the radio is something.
How rude. Go ahead.
What have you been hearing, John?
What we're hearing on the radio, and of course we have no way of confirming this because he's on the back stretches, he's complaining about the spoiler, and it is bumped up pretty high. He said about 20 laps ago that he felt like he was in the way, that he needed to get out of the way, that it just wasn't running. So we don't have any way of checking it out, but it sounds okay.
Okay, thank you. Oh well, it won't be the first and it definitely will not be the last, because as long as they're battling like this. You're welcome, Neil. Anytime I can make you feel good. The Southern 500 from Darlington Raceway in South Carolina, and a new leader. Mark Martin has passed Dale Earnhardt to go into the lead. Ernie Irvan running a close third.
Mark, just a couple of laps ago, went by Earnhardt on the front straightaway and has already pulled out 6 car lengths.
Yeah, something like that. That's close enough. There's Jeff Gordon.
And Derek Cope. A couple of cars on the lead lap.
Right now they are.
Right now, but they are in dire jeopardy of going a lap down, and Jimmy Hensley already a lap down in the family chapter car. He's down.
Now the Derek Cope Bojangles car is already a lap down. He's about to go 2 laps down.
Jeff Gordon is at the moment on the lead lap in 16th. There goes Mark under Hensley.
So that puts Hensley 2 laps down. He is being shown in 29th position.
Saw Phil Parsons coming out of the back here. Evidently he's been in and changed tires.
He did indeed.
Derek Cope goes 2 laps down as you watch another Fram Field summary showing where your favorite driver was last time around.
That 6 cars the last month. I said that a bit ago, but it's just incredible how well everything has come together for Mark Martin and Jack Roush and the crew.
There's Rudd and Jeff Bodine battling side by side.
So it's race for 8th spot. Rudd takes it. Jeff Bodine back to the 9th spot.
It is amazing how we have streaks in NASCAR Winston Cup racing, isn't it? I mean, Bill Elliott did last year. Harry Gant had a 4-race winning streak. Earlier this year, Rusty Wallace had a 3-race. Mark Martin has a 3-race going, trying to make it 4. Kyle Petty is about to go a lap down, not too far ahead.
Yeah, he's slowed down the last couple of laps. His car has really gone away. And there's the 16th place car, Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Spencer. They're 2 about to go a lap down by Mark Martin.
Mark goes on the inside of Hut Strickland.
Now, Hut was already a lap down.
Right, that's puts him 2 laps at least.
27, Hut Strickland is, and the 27 McDonald's Ford.
Here comes Earnhardt. Gets on the inside of Hut. Now Kyle Petty moves over and lets Mark Martin go by on the outside.
Oh, it's really brought on the last 10 laps. His car is just, as soon as it's gone away, I think he's about to come in for a pit stop. Well, he's going to stay out this time. He's pitting on the back straight. But he just won't come off the turn. Stays down low down. Let's go and get up on the outside.
Meanwhile, Todd Bodine passed Ernie Irvin. Todd Bodine, we talked about it. He is a lap down, but he was able to pass the third place car. There he is, right behind Hut Strickland.
That's the 13th lap that Mark Martin has led. There's Ernie Irvin, Hut Strickland, Brett Bodine.
Looks like Brett is catching up with Ernie Irvin right now.
Yeah. There's
Todd Bodine passed Kyle Petty for that position.
Greg Saxon for a pit stop. He was one of the first ones to come in the last time when they pitted on the green in the Country Time Ford. As we watch Todd Bodine.
He's a 16th place car right now.
He has caught and passed some very good race cars.
And he's closing in on Dale Earnhardt right now.
Well, we expect pit stops in the next couple of laps, so we're going to take a break. Be sure that we're back for all the excitement on pit road in the 44th Mountain Dew Southern 500.
Welcome back to Darlington, South Carolina. Dale Earnhardt has come on to pit road for a 4-tire change. No chassis adjustment. Earnhardt, since the last set of tires, has lost a little bit over 2 seconds a lap. Richard Childress, Andy Petrie, and the crew have talked it over. Decided to bring him in just a little bit early. They could have gone about 10 more laps before they would have to have pitted, but they figured to get fresh tires on and get out there and try and get some time back on the racetrack, that they think they're going to do the right thing. And now Rusty Wallace's crew also readying their pit area for Rusty to be on pit road very, very shortly, Bob. Actually, well, here he comes. Speak of the devil, Rusty Wallace coming down pit road. It'll be a 4-tire change for the Miller Genuine Draft crew. Remember, this is the team that has cranked off 17-second pit stops, and they will go to work. Right side tires going on, left side lug nuts coming off, gas going in. They'll swing around to the left side, and Mark Martin is now on pit road along with Brett Bodine. And Jerry, they're down toward you.
And as you said, John, Mark Martin and others, including Ernie Irvin, could have stayed out of probably 10 or maybe even 12 more laps. But Dale Earnhardt, when he came down pit road, he made the move. Everyone now has to follow. New tires are just that critical. As you're watching left side tires now going on the Valvoline Ford 19.3. The Hamlin Ford Thunderbird now coming down pit road. Here is Larry McReynolds and the crew waiting for our leader, Ernie Irvin. His first ride in the Robert Yates prepared Ford Thunderbird. Crew now changing right side tires. Right side of the car going up. Right in front of them, Bill Elliott getting service on the Budweiser Ford, so Ernie has to turn hard right to get out of pit road. Now left side tires will be going on the car. Feeding the windshield. Jack beneath the car. Left side tires going on. Scrubbing the front grill to get all that rubber out of the grill. He is down and away. Pretty good pit stop for the Haviland team.
Other pit action involves Ricky Rudd and Todd Bodine. We're watching the Ricky Rudd stop from his in-car camera there momentarily. The Tide crew looking like they're trying to pull the sheet metal away from that incident with Harry Gant.
That's exactly what they were doing. It just wanted to be sure that it wouldn't get too close to the tire. As here he is, Harry Gant coming into the pits. And let's go back to the pits and John Carter.
Well, as Todd Bodine finishes up a left side tire change down, we're now looking at Harry Gant. They will clean the windshield. Also, it looks like, well, the tire, that left front, we were a little worried that it might be rubbing. It doesn't. It shows just a little bit of evidence. You can see just a little bit of a shine there. And Todd Bodine now is having problems. He must install the engine. They're pushing him down pit road, trying to get the engine refired. Harry Gant finishes up his 4 tire change. Rick Mast is also in there. Will work on the left side. Todd Bodine's car still is not fired. Team is pushing it down pit road. Rick Mast's car will be tightened up just a little bit of 4 tire change. Rick will have to go around the 75 car and head down pit road. Todd Bodine's crew still pushing, trying to get the motor to fire. It will not fire. It looks like they're going to have to push it behind the wall and check it out. A problem with Todd Bodine.
Boy, for a car that was so fast on the racetrack at one point, a tremendous disappointment for Todd. Jeff Purvis, as you can see, made a pit stop and is going back out. They've got the ether spraying it into the carburetor on the 75 car, but it just will not fire. Now maybe it did. Yeah, now he's moving.
Well, maybe.
There is he.
And I think it fired for a little bit. Yeah. Just got a breath of that ether, but didn't pick the fuel up. What a tough break, because he really was running. He might have been, as Benny said, the fastest car on the racetrack.
Yep. Crew continues to work on the car, pushing it down pit road, spraying ether continues. The car weighs 3,500 pounds, and they've got, what, about 7 guys that are pushing it, including members of the Morgan McClure car.
That's a Bojangles team that's
is it?
moved over to help them push, and the car is stalled again. They're going to have to get it behind pit wall and work on the car.
Jerry, they're right in front of you now. What do you see?
Well, car owner Butch Mock is absolutely out of breath. He was spraying the ether. You know, people may wonder why you just don't stand there and spray ether continuously in the intake. Well, when that ether ignites, it creates such an explosion. It can blow part of the engine apart, so they got to be very sparing with the ether in the intake. Now they're going to push the car behind the wall. What a tough break for Todd Bodine, who had such a pretty good run going here in his first time at Darlington. We'll catch up with Todd here in just a moment.
You can see the frustration as he pounded the steering wheel when the car was being moved behind the wall. They'll try to go to work on it and find out if they can get it back on the racetrack. A big disappointment for Todd Bodine. The leader of the race is Dale Earnhardt at the end of 148 laps at Darlington Raceway in South Carolina.
Looks like Earnhardt's some distance on there.
He just made a pit stop. Pit ready.
Yeah.
75 cars running. He's back on the racetrack.
We're doing okay. Last time we checked it was lap 12, about 3 laps ago. Southern 500 at Darlington Raceway in South Carolina, the 22nd race of the 1983 NASCAR Winston Cup season, being led by Dale Earnhardt. Todd Bodine is back on the racetrack. The car is running fine. He is 7 laps down. Jerry, what was the problem?
Well, Bob, if Todd were ever a guest on the show, Life's Most Embarrassing Moments, he would mention what happened today. During their pit stop, he hit the battery switch with his elbow, shut the battery off. The crew was pushing all their life down pit road and pouring ether in the car, and it wasn't going to start because the battery was shut off. They pulled him behind the pit wall, looked in, flipped the battery switch back on, and amazingly, it fired right up. So Todd turned red in the face, apologized, and pulled back on the racetrack.
It's one of those whoops.
And I'll guarantee you one thing, they'll have that switch in a different position next week. So it will not be so easy for the driver to hit it with his elbow.
Well, gentlemen, after that round of green flag pit stops, there are only 9 cars on the lead lap. Earnhardt leads. Mark Martin is second. In third place is Brett Bodine. Fourth is Ernie Irvin. In fifth place is the car number 25 of Ken Schrader. And in sixth place is Rusty Wallace. Then comes here again. Ricky Rudd and Jeff Bodine.
Well, those two have changed positions.
Okay.
Ed Gant's running ahead of Rusty right now.
Okay.
There's Wally Dallenbach up high in turn 3.
The 8 car of Sterling Marlin, several laps down. He had an early pit stop. Unscheduled pit stop, spent some time behind the wall. Here's a field summary, a Fram field summary.
Well,
So
watching-
you can see where your favorite driver is running.
Watching Rusty Wallace there following Harry Gant. Rusty is the only driver in the modern era, with the exception of the late Alan Kulwicki, who has won a NASCAR Winston Cup championship, but who has never won a race here at Darlington. And Darrell Waltrip is continuing with his problems. You can see he's 4 laps down. Well, we're approaching the halfway point. That would be lap 184, and we're on 156. So this is sort of the time when you settle back and relax as much as you can on this racetrack.
Well, I tell you what, that used to be anymore. It looks like these guys run as hard as they can all day long. As you see Rick Mast, Jimmy Spencer, and Todd Bodine.
Between Mast and Spencer.
And watch Todd Bodine. He has a little bit fresher tires than these guys. He will blow right by Jimmy Spencer.
Well, he sure does. Well, let's jump inside the Valvoline Ford. Watch Mark Martin for a while, and we'll sit out here and let you listen as he takes some laps around the track. Mark, by the way, is second.
Tires are fresh. They can get through that corner wide open. Can't now with worn tires.
Now we move to Morgan Shepherd's car.
Quickly, Morgan Shepherd caught Jimmy Spencer and went by.
There was more position. They're both being shown as 1 lap down, so Morgan moved into 15th, pushes Spencer back to 16th.
The battle for 10th position is between Bill Elliott and Jeff Gordon. Elliott there in the Budweiser Ford, and Jeff Gordon in the DuPont Chevrolet.
You see Dave Marcus out there in the blue car on the left there as we watch Jeff Gordon and Bill Elliott. Here's Marcus. He was on the leaderboard there for a moment, got up to about 5th place. He stayed out longer than most of the others and has new tires on. He's coming up past us and off the good race cars.
And you know his sponsor is this week, Ned?
Who is it?
Dale Earnhardt Chevrolet, Newton, North Carolina. He came here with nothing on the quarter panel, went to Earnhardt and said, look, I need some help, buddy. And Earnhardt agreed to put his Chevrolet dealer on the quarter panel.
For those of you tuning in for the Best of American Muscle, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to show you that program right now because of our delayed coverage of the Mountain Dew Southern 500. And among those most disappointed, our own Benny Parsons, who was a regular viewer of that program. And in fact, I think, haven't you been a guest on that once?
What is this?
The Best of American Muscle.
No.
Oh.
As Jeff Fuller says, all I got's a lunch muscle.
Okay. Here's Earnhardt putting a lap on the car number 15 of Jeff Bodine. Now they're only 8 cars in the lead lap as Bodine runs ninth.
And there's Dave Marcus we were talking about, went right by Mark Martin. Boy, he sure did.
You can see that the sky has cleared off nicely. No more threat of rain. 163 laps completed. Dale Earnhardt leads the Mountain Dew Southern 500. Labor Day tradition since 1950. Someday that young man there will remember coming to the 1993 Mountain Dew Southern 500 on his daddy's shoulders.
He got the best seat in the house, doesn't he, Bob?
He sure does.
He thinks so anyway.
I bet he has dreams of coming here and running in this Southern 500 one day.
Who knows? Could happen. Cale Yarborough did. Dale Earnhardt is the leader of this race. He has led 79 laps so far. Mark Martin is second, Brett Bodine third, Ernie Irvan fourth, and Ken Schrader is fifth.
Mark Martin had closed up a little bit closer to Dale Earnhardt, but they got in some traffic a moment ago, and Mark had a terrible time getting through that traffic and let Earnhardt get away from him about 30, 40 car lengths. More than he already was in front of him.
Bill Parsons has put it on the backstretch in the Mannheim Auctions Chevrolet.
We see him tightening the car up just a little bit in the right rear.
Phil has been stopping a little bit quicker than most of the others all afternoon. He's going to have to make an extra pit stop. But boy, when he comes out, he's strong.
He's 29th according to the NASCAR scoring.
John, why is Phil stopping before some of these other cars are stopping?
Benny talking with some of the other teams this morning as we were walking in. They said, you know, that 41 team, they got about 14 sets of tires. That was about 3 to 4 more sets than a lot of these other teams had. They must have stockpiled some, like Darrell Walton's crew also had stockpiled 4 sets of tires from the spring race. They got the same tire down here, so they got just a little bit more of an advantage. They got some more tires stockpiled back there, so that's why you're seeing them make a lot of extra stops. But we're seeing a lot of the teams are still having a hard, really tough problem in trying to figure out how to get these cars exactly set up. Seeing a lot of work, a lot of talk down here on pit road. Very few cars have hit it. I think Earnhardt, Mark Martin are two of the best handling cars right now.
You can see the interval there between first and second. Martin is about second and a half.
He's closing up.
Yep.
He's closing up a little bit at each lap. He's closing up. In the meantime, Brett Bodine is our third place car, and he's about a straightaway behind the second place car of Mark Martin.
Here's Morgan Shepherd coming up on Jeff Gordon. That would be fourth position. Morgan in 16th, and Gordon being 13th. He's lost a little bit of that now. Morgan's picked up some anyway. That is fourth position. Each of those cars are left down.
And pull off the pass there in the fourth turn.
Down turn 1 and 2. You can see that Jeff Gordon's Chevrolet is running a little bit higher on the racetrack than Morgan Shepherd's Ford. Looks like the Fords are running on the bottom of the racetrack down there. The Chevrolets and Pontiacs are running high.
Is that the explanation?
I really don't know. The Fords evidently have a better balance here at this racetrack in front to rear than, say, the General Motors cars do. That time, Jeff stayed about in the middle of the racetrack where the Fords have been running.
Well, the Ford of Mark Martin is about to reach Dale Earnhardt as we watch this battle back in the pack. Some good racing, but look here. Martin has run Earnhardt down just a few car lengths.
Really closing in. And our on-track interval shows us that between laps 168 and 172, there was a 1.4 second difference between the two on 168, and Mark narrowed that down to 0.8 of a second by lap 172.
Gained just a tick over half a second on Dale Earnhardt. These cars are fairly evenly matched. Earnhardt is a little bit better on fresh tires. Mark Martin seems to be a little bit better on worn tires.
Well, Mark appears to be in a position to battle and challenge Dale for that lead. Here he is moving through the second corner, looking to the inside.
Can't quite do it. He slipped a little bit.
Yep, he did.
Slipped just a little bit. Had to get off the accelerator. So he says, I'll have to set him up again and try to pass him somewhere else.
Earnhardt drifts up the banking in the third and fourth turns, and Martin follows him.
Earnhardt goes up the racetrack. Martin stays on the bottom of the racetrack, just like they've been doing all day.
Trying to get a run on him again in the backstretch, but nope, no challenge.
He's going to pass him down the front straightaway, Bob.
You think so?
Yep.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we'll just wait.
Another great call by our color commentator.
I thought he was going to.
Nailed another one, BP.
So now she's going to do it in the second corner,
Right.
backstretch.
But Earnhardt fights back. I think Mark's going to get him going into three. Now we'll see if the car slides up the track and if Dale goes to the bottom.
You know, if Mark Spotter didn't tell him that he had him cleared, he could have taken that wider approach into that turn, and maybe could have kept that from happening.
Man.
Mark turned it left, almost lost the back end as he tried to get back under Earnhardt to get by him.
He was leaving tire marks there in the fourth corner, but saved it. Well, it's a good battle up front between Dale Earnhardt and Mark Martin. Behind those two are Brett Bodine, Ernie Irvan, and Ken Schrader with 178 laps completed. Then Gant, Wallace, Rudd, Elliott, and Jarrett.
We welcome you back to Darlington Raceway in Darlington, South Carolina. Unscheduled pit stop for the only driver ever to win the Winston Million. Awesome. Bill Elliott brings the Budweiser Ford down pit road, apparently the victim of a flat right side tire. Elliott radioed just a lap ago, so I got a tire going down. Mike Beam and the Junior Johnson crew wants to work. Called Elliott in, and they will change all four tires to make sure. Bill Elliott, a four-time winner, twice a winner of the Mountain Dew Southern 500. It's not 20.1 seconds under green, and he's back away.
And Bill Elliott gave up 10th position to come in for that tire change. Elliott running in the top 10. He has won 4 times on this racetrack. 2 in the spring race and 2 here at the Southern 500. Hey, we're at record pace. Average speed 136.2, and the record is 135.4. And Mark Martin is still trying to get around Dale Earnhardt.
Nothing has changed.
Look how high on the track Earnhardt is.
Earnhardt really got up high that time, but he got a very good grip up there. But you know, Ned, when they run across traffic, Dale Earnhardt doesn't really have a problem with it because he's running so high, he just flows by. But when Mark Martin has to move up the racetrack, he has a problem.
Here's Rusty Wallace moving inside of Ken Schrader for 5th. And we are at the halfway mark. 184 laps have been completed, and Martin again challenges Dale Earnhardt. Martin inches ahead down the backstretch, but then Earnhardt fights right back. Pulls on
Side up there, and Earnhardt right back up him again.
just like always. They both a little loose.
Mark's car wiggled pretty good up there.
Yep.
Halfway point.
Ned, what do you suppose Mark's going to do on the last lap during this situation?
Well, if he goes, he's going to slow her down going into that turn and not slide high.
He's going to make Earnhardt go in on the outside of it, right?
I think that's what he's going to do.
He's going to try to make Earnhardt go in on the outside of it.
Isn't that the strategy that Robert Pressley used, what was it, last year to win here?
Yeah, beat here again.
Yeah.
Right, on the last lap.
Yep.
Here comes Martin down the front straightaway. He's alongside Earnhardt.
He's not taking Earnhardt's groove away because he runs right up there anyway.
get about a half a car length ahead.
Mark just can't get good traction down on the inside coming off that turn. Has a preferred position going in, but he'll slide up, Earnhardt right back under him again.
Same old story.
Meanwhile, Dave Martin is sitting back there just watching this and saying, wow, these guys are really racing.
Dave has come from way back and has run this twosome down.
He's 20th. 2 laps down. This is like a broken record. The same thing happens every lap. Maybe Martin is trying to coax him into making a mistake, huh?
No, they're having fun.
They are just racing.
Really having fun out there. Mark's going to try to get a hard run on him this time, but can't quite do it.
All right, this time Earnhardt's going to let him go. I guess Richard Childress said, no, well, wait a minute. I thought Earnhardt was going to let him go. And Dale almost did hit the wall that time.
Okay, now Mark has him cleared this time.
Yeah.
He can take his groove into the third turn.
Earnhardt's car is wiggling up in that corner.
Getting very, very loose.
Man,
we understand that Ernie Irvan is about to make a pit stop. His car is getting very, very loose as well. Here he is slowing down right now, getting ready to come into the pits.
Jerry Punch will call this pit stop by Ernie Irvan, the driver of the Haviland Ford, Jerry.
You're exactly right, Ned. Jared, Ernie Irvan's car was on skates out there. He last pitted 45 laps ago, and the tires have gone away. So he will bring the Texaco Haviland Ford Thunderbird down. We'll put the clock on the screw and see what Larry McReynolds' crew can do. Right side and left side tires should go on this Ford Thunderbird. They are being very meticulous in cleaning the front grill area and the windshield. Now left side tires going up as they are putting left side tires in the car number 20. Let's check into the case for Victor John Turner. Do it. Jerry, the pole sitter, is in for a 4-tire change. Right side's already on. The crew will swing around. Go to work on the left side. Make sure they clean the windshield. Also, make sure that they get some of that rubber swept away from that front grille because they don't want an overheating problem. We can see a couple of cars here making repeated pit stops for overheating. Ken Schrader is down on the way a pretty good pit stop. Jeff Gordon is now in. He will also take on 4 tires. And Ricky Rudd is into the pits. Once again, 4-tire change. The order of the day, as we've been telling you, the tires, this tough old racetrack, Goodyear doing as best as they can for it, but this racetrack is just so tough on tires with the rocks, with the broken seashells, that it literally shaves the tread off of the tires. Rick Masters also coming in for 4-tire changes. Let's go upstairs to the booth.
And a good race on the track as Brett Bodine has passed Dale Earnhardt.
I tell you what, while we were watching Martin Martin and Dale Earnhardt race for the lead, this guy, Brett Bodine, just slowly crept right up and is in second place. Looks like he's gaining on Martin Martin.
Brett Bodine's best finish of 1993 was a 5th in the second Pocono race. He has been coming on in the last 6 races. Climb began at Loudon with his 13th place finish and is reflected by 5 finishes, 14th or better in his last 6 events. There goes Bobby Hillin shooting by Brett on new tires.
Yes, he was in just a few laps ago in the Howlett Myers Ford, so he just drives right on around.
And the Ford car was just black flagged the last time by. I don't know why that Jeff Purvis was black flagged in the Kodak Film Chevrolet, but NASCAR officials displayed the black flag as he went by. Here's our leader, Mark Martin. Down the back straightaway.
Here's some more fresh tires. Ricky Rudd passing Dale Earnhardt. He's just in the Tide Chevrolet for 4 tires. And Kyle Petty has been in as well. And he makes a pass on Earnhardt.
Kyle's 26th. Mark Martin continues to stay out there. Now Rudd passes second place, Brett Bodine. And here's Terry Labonte in the back pits. Oh, I'm sorry, that's in the front pits. Kellogg's Cornflake Chevy. Another driver involved in a team switch for 94. He'll join Rick Hendrick.
Terry was being shown in the 17th position before this pit stop. He was shown 2 laps down to the leaders.
See him working there at the front of the car to get that build-up rubber off the front of it. Now here comes Brett Bodine in, giving up second position to Quaker State Ford. Jerry Punch, he's headed toward you.
And Donnie Richardson and crew waiting on Brett Bodine's car. Number 26, one of the best runs they have had this year. The Kenny Bernstein-owned car. They will get right side and left side tires as Brett Bodine sits patiently in the car. This time by, we should expect to see the Valvoline Ford of Mark Martin, our leader, coming down pit road. But Rusty Wallace is in. Let's check in with John Kernan.
Jerry, as Mark Martin heads down pit road, Rusty Wallace's crew is going to work. Right side tires on. The Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac. Dale Earnhardt will also pull in as the third place car. They will do a 4-tire change in fuel. We're not expecting any chassis adjustments as now let's go down to Mark Martin's pit where they're working on the right side and Dr. Jerry Punch.
Exactly the man who's had the hot hand in NASCAR. Mark Martin gets right side tires and now left side tires as Rusty is already out as he is headed down pit road. Valvoline crew now putting left side rubber on. Good pit stop. 20.2 seconds and the car number 6 is down and away.
Earnhardt comes down pit road. The 98 car of Derek Cope stops, and here's John Kernan again as Kerry is in.
Likewise, a 4-tire change, also a chassis adjustment around the wedge, out of the right rear left side now going on. There again, sitting in the car, waiting there, wiping away the rubber. Here he guns as they drop the jack and heads down pit road.
Morgan Shepherd is going out. Ted Musgrave is on pit road. Here comes Harry Gant. That's looking back on Harry from Morgan Shepherd's car. On the racetrack, meanwhile, our leader is Mark Martin. Martin has the leading end of the Mountain Dew Southern 500 with 197 laps completed. Back at Darlington, and this shot from our remote camera off of turn number 2. Now that stuff up there to the left is rubber that has been worn off the tires, and we've talked about how abrasive this track is. That's where it goes. Some of it, however, goes into the front grille of the cars, and there it is in turn number 4, and that's why the crew members work so hard to get that build up rubber from the front of the cars when they come in for a pit stop. Here is the battle for second position, Irvin and Brett Bodine, and Brett is going to take it away from Ernie.
Brett just goes right by. Ernie falls in behind, and Brett Bodine has the luxury of having just a couple of laps less on his tires than Ernie Irvin does, so there's not much Ernie can do except just watch him go by.
Here's the Western Auto race summary. Mark Martin, our current leader, has led 31 of the 200 laps. There are 8 cars on the lead lap, 9 leaders, 17 changes, 2 cautions, only 2 cautions for 11 laps, and the average speed is at a record 136.2. Those that have led a lap and picked up the 5 bonus points include Dale Earnhardt, Ernie Irvin, Mark Martin, Ken Schrader, Brett Bodine, Jeff Gordon, Harry Gant, Jimmy Hensley, and Jeff Purvis.
Seems unbelievable that Mark Martin has only led, what was that, 31 laps or something?
Not nearly as much as Earnhardt, yeah. And there are 5 cars listed out of the race. Means, Teague, Bailey, Strickland, and Skinner. The standings in the Mechanic of the Year battle. Andy Petrie is on top over Steve Neal, Tony Glover, Buddy Parrott, and Frank Edwards. The standings in the Mechanic of the Year honors from Western Auto. There is Rusty Wallace coming up on Ted Musgrave, who is back in action this week after missing the Bristol race. The Jasper Engines US Air Ford, and Rusty is 4th.
They're showing him 5th right now.
Are they?
Yes, because Dale Earnhardt is 4th, and the 3 Fords are in front. I tell you what, Rusty's pretty good because we're waiting for the leader, and we can see that Mark Martin we're still waiting. There comes Mark Martin off turn 4 right now, and Brett Bodine, our second place car.
Mark's in some traffic.
He's been on Gary Cope for 2 or 3 laps in that Bojangles Ford.
And Wally Dallenbach Jr.
His teammate.
Yep. There.
Had it cleared, so we'll right around.
You know, last time there was a 10-mile-an-hour difference from lap before pit stop and lap after. Now about a 7 mile-an-hour difference.
Well, the miles per hour was higher this time on the slowest lap. Went from 140 to 141.5. And I would guess they're getting some rubber in the racetrack, and the racetrack is getting a little bit faster or more consistent. The drop-off will not be as great.
Yeah, I think consistent is the word, Benny, that with that rubber on there, that it's a little bit more predictable and not as big a sway.
And I tell you, the officials here at this speedway, Jim Hunter, all the people there are so excited about what's going to happen to this racetrack. How they're going to put more seats. You know, they're going to flip-flop the racetrack, going to repave the racetrack. They want to make Darlington Raceway a showplace for motorsports.
Here's another Transfield summary as we watch the leader, Mark Martin, put laps on traffic.
All these cars a lap down. Michael Walker a lap down. We haven't talked too much about it today, but still hanging in there, 1 lap down.
Jeff Purvis is 4 laps down in his first race for the Morgan McClure Kodak Chevrolet. And there are the drivers that have dropped out of competition. I hesitate to mention this. We have only had 2 cautions, neither of which were for incidents. There were only 3 in the spring race that resulted in the record speed, and we are running above that right now. Back in 1963, there were no cautions in the Mountain Dew Southern 500. Back with more right after this. ESPN Speed World is being brought to you by Allied Signals Fram Filters. You can pay a little now or a lot later. And by Budweiser, fresh, pure, natural, proud to be your Bud. The Mountain Dew Southern 500 continues. For those of you tuning in for baseball tonight, it will not be seen tonight because of our coverage of the Mountain Dew Southern 500, which was rain delayed 3 hours. Shop Talk, which was supposed to debut at 5 o'clock and obviously also had to be scrapped, will be on at 1 o'clock tomorrow morning. And the guest will be Bill Elliott. And American Muscle will be on at 1:30 tomorrow morning. So, Benny, you can watch it after all.
Oh, yeah, right. I'll have to fly to California where it's only 10:30.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
You think your body will know that, huh?
Yeah.
Mark Martin is the leader of the race. He has a 2.15 second advantage on Brett Bodine, 4.23 on Dale Earnhardt, 4.95 on Ernie Irvan, and a 20.5 second lead on Rusty Wallace, who is 5th. We are live here at Darlington, South Carolina. We were rain delayed. It was supposed to start at 1 o'clock. It started at 4 Eastern time, and so we are just a little bit more than halfway through this event. Mark Martin is the leader, going for his 4th consecutive win in NASCAR Wednesday Cup competition.
When we went to break, Dale Earnhardt was our 4th place car. Well, he passed Ernie Irvan during that break to take over 3rd place.
Bobby Labonte continues to be among the contenders. He's listed in 19th position. The first car a lap down.
In fact, he just went 2 laps down, Bob. Yeah, just moments ago as Mark Martin went around him.
The Maxwell House 4, driven by rookie contender Bobby Labonte. Started 3rd. His highest was a 3rd on lap number 94, and his lowest was on lap 142, where he was running 29th. Brett Bodine started 12th. He led lap 100. On lap number 5 was 13th. As a matter of fact, he led 3 laps there in the around the lap 100 mark. The 16 car of Wally Dallenbach started 30th, currently running 20th. He's been as high as 13th and as low as 31st. He has not led a lap.
And then comes Dale Earnhardt, who started 6th, currently 3rd. Of course, his highest was 1st. He's led a lot of laps. Lowest was 8th on lap 94 and has led 101 laps.
Phil Parsons, our little brother, started 34th. He's currently 29th. He was up to 18th on lap 101. He was back 35th on lap 88 and has not led a lap.
The 28 car is being driven this weekend by Ernie Irvan. He is the permanent driver now of this car this season and next. Started 10th, currently 4th. Led 46 laps so far. His lowest position has been 10th. That was on lap 191.
And he signed a 4-year deal with Robert Yates.
And right behind him is the car number 98, the Bojangles Ford of Derek Coates, who started 5th. He's currently 26th. His highest was 5th on lap 5. His lowest was lap 114, 31st.
And we're going to Terry Labonte, the driver of the Kellogg's Cornflake Chevrolet. He started 20th. He's right there at 21st. He did get up to 6th place on lap 147. He was back to 25th on lap 196. And Terry hasn't led there.
Todd Bodine started 17th. Look at his highest position, 3rd on lap 93, but he had a disastrous pit stop in which he knocked off the ignition of the battery switch. He has been as low as 34th. Is currently in 17th position.
Sterling Marlin, he started 9th. He currently is running 34th because he had a long pit stop. He was up to 7th on lap 5, but he went back to 36th. And I don't know exactly how many laps behind he is, but several laps behind.
And then next comes Jimmy Hensley in the Family Channel Ford number 7. Started 26th, currently running 27th. His highest, he led a lap back on lap 32. His lowest was on lap 93 and 33rd.
Then comes the 90 car, driven by Bobby Hillen, who started 19th, has fallen back to 25th. Highest and lowest, 9th and 34th.
Dale Jarrett is next. The Interstate Battery Chevrolet started 27th. He's currently in 10th spot. And it doesn't look like he's going to win that 100 grand.
Nope.
He did get up to 4th place. His lowest was back to 28th on lap 7.
And Bill Elliott has dropped back to 10th. Actually, Jarrett has moved up to 9th now as he got around the Budweiser Ford of Bill Elliott. Bill started 7th, currently 9th. Highest was 7th on lap 4. His lowest was 24th on lap 189 when he made that unscheduled pit stop.
Jeff Bodine in the Motorcraft Ford is currently running in 11th position after starting 29th. It's been as high as 6th and as low as 31st. Jeff has not led a lap so far in the Bud Moore car.
We've got to go all the way back here from Michael Waltrip from the Pennzoil Pontiac. Started 25th. He now is in 12th spot. He did get up to 9th. And his lowest was 28th. And Michael has not led a lap today.
Rusty Wallace will be next in line. Rusty started 11th, currently 5th. His highest was 4th on lap 195. His lowest was 32nd on lap 89. Of course, that was during some pit stops. And I might mention here that Rick Mast would be among some of these cars. He has taken his Stoll Classic Ford to the garage area.
And the number 68 car is the next we will focus on. Greg Sachs, currently running in 28th position. He was 2nd on lap 97 and 32nd on lap 139. He started 13th. And there's the 12 car, Jimmy Spencer.
And Spencer started 14th. He's currently 14th, right there at the same spot he started. He did get up to 6th spot, and he went back to 28th on lap 93.
And Ted Musgrave is next. That car is running much better than he started 18th and currently shown 22nd. He got up as high as 2nd on lap 95, but that car has run better than position that he is in, even though he's being passed right now or about to be passed by Ken Schrader.
Who was the pole sitter? Started on the pole, currently is in 6th position. He led 12 laps and has been as low as 24th. Schrader going for $7,600 in Unocal bonus money.
44 car, Rick Wilson, the STP Pontiac is next. He started 35th, currently 31st. He did get up to 30th. That's the highest he got today. His lowest was 36th. Rick having a terrible day in the Pontiac.
And Harry Gant started 2nd, currently 7th. His highest was the 1st on lap 144. And he dropped back to 16th on lap 36 during pit stops. He has led 2 laps today in this Gold Bandit.
And the car sustained some damage on a pit stop from Ricky Rudd. Next is Jeff Gordon. Started 15th, and that is where he is running. He led 3 laps of this race. He has been back as far as 22nd. Jeff Gordon currently 15th.
There's Morgan Shepherd, the Citgo Ford. He started 21st. He's now 16th. He did get up to 8th spot and all the way back to 28th on lap 45.
Next in line is the car number 20, the Phenolube car of Bobby Hamilton. Started 32nd, currently 24th. Got up as high as 14th and as lowest at 35th.
think we got 3 more to go, guys. We've completed almost a full lap. Here's Jeff Purvis in car number 4. Started 22nd, currently 30th. He did lead a lap and has been as low as 36th. The Morgan McClure car being driven by Jeff Purvis.
There's Darrell Waltrip, and another guy that's having a terrible, terrible day. He and Dick Trickle, 2 cars that look almost identical. Darrell started 24th, currently in 32nd. He did get up to 10th and back to 34th. And as I said, Darrell had a terrible day. And there goes the 40 car. Kenny Wallace by. He started 31st. He's currently 18th. He did get up to 9th. Back to 36 was his lowest, and I guess that's when he made a pit stop and put Dick Trickle, who is now driving the car, in that Dirt Devil Pontiac.
That's right. And there's Dick Trickle. It is the 2nd consecutive race that Kenny Wallace has been relieved by Dick Trickle, because remember, Kenny sustained a broken shoulder blade in his crash during testing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Well, there's a review of the field of the cars that are out there. 227 laps is what we have completed, and the leader is Mark Martin. Stay with us. Very, very nice.
And we missed the 5 and the 22. I mean 42. Yeah. Because they got lapped after we started.
Right.
I just want to say, guys, that was very, very nice. I enjoyed that. That was entertaining.
Yeah, it was.
I know. That was outstanding. I tell you what, I thought that was very enjoyable. That helps me a lot down here knowing we don't get to see the race. That was a great job, guys.
Southern 500 live from Darlington Raceway in South Carolina. Yes, we're still going with this race. It didn't start until 4 o'clock because of rain. And there is the leader, Mark Martin, going for his 4th consecutive win in NASCAR Winston Cup competition. While we were doing our little swing around the track, well, here is Kyle Petty, who has brought the mellow yellow Pontiac into the pits on the backstretch.
That's a car we didn't cover in our snapshot, wasn't it?
Yeah, because he got lapped during our lap around the track. He and Ricky Rudd both got lapped, and so we missed both of those. But Kyle is still out there in the running. Of course, in the pits right now, he was being shown in the, well, let's see, where was he? 18th position before he came in. And Ricky Rudd has gone a lap down. Now there are only 7 cars on the lead lap. Ricky Rudd is running in 8th place.
And another car we missed during our swing around the track was Rick Mast, who took his car behind the wall. John Kernan can tell us why.
Well, they are planning to get the Skull Classic Ford back out on the racetrack. What happened? They broke the rear end gear. The car just would not pull, so they pulled it into the garage area. They're changing the rear end gear, and they expect to be back out on the racetrack to run some more laps.
Meanwhile, we're riding with Mark Martin as he comes up on Dick Trickle driving the Dirt Devil Pontiac, and he dispenses with him rather easily. Things have kind of settled down here, so let's jump inside the Valvoline Ford and take a few laps around, plus watch the telemetry and see how the speed and the RPMs are going.
Could turn a few more down the front.
Meanwhile, we have some action on pit road as Ken Schrader brings the Kodiak Chevy in. Bill Elliott is also in. Jerry.
Bill Elliott running in 12th position, 1 lap down. Remember, he made an unscheduled pit stop, and they have had a problem here. The car has fallen off the jack. The car rolled back as Ken Schrader also getting service, our pole sitter in the Kodiak Chevrolet. And now Elliott's car has fallen off the jack, and they're going to have to go get another jack. They had one jack that apparently broke, and the car slid off. What a tough break. They're trying to pick the car up. They don't have tires on the right side of the car. They cannot get the jack under. Now they finally got the jack under the car. Meanwhile, Kenny Schrader has moved back on the racetrack, They are finally getting the right side of the car jacked up with a little help from one of the Valvoline crew members. Right side tires going on. What else could happen to Bill Elliott? He lost a lap earlier due to a cut tire on the right side. He was running in 12th position, one of 8 cars showing 1 lap left. Now he finally gets the tires changed and heads back to turn 1.
A pit stop that seemed like an eternity for Bill Elliott, who will be the guest on the premiere of Shop Talk here on ESPN. An Eli Gold program. Bill will be his first guest. That was supposed to air at 5 o'clock this afternoon. It did not, of course, because of our coverage of this race. It will be on at 1 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow morning. Look at this. The average speed of the race is now up to almost 3 miles an hour above the record, and that's because we have had only 2 cautions. The leader, Mark Martin, running in 2nd spot.
Brett Bodine, he's not that far behind, guys. It looks to me like he might have gained just a tick. We see it going on the inside of Jeff Gordon. Back there is their 3rd place car, Dale Earnhardt. He's about a straightaway behind the 2nd place car. But looks like that Brett Bodine has a great run going in that quick straight forward. Looks like he's gaining on our leader, Mark Martin.
I think he is. He seems to be picking up just a little bit. And we've seen in these long runs, as we see Phil Parsons on the back bumper burn. Hartfield was in about too long ago, and in the pits he's a little off sequence with the leaders as Jimmy Hensley comes in the Family Channel car. But Brett Bodine seems to really run strong as they run on these hot tires.
Jimmy Hensley brings the Family Channel Ford in. He is the very first pit down toward turn 1, and also coming in is Ernie Irvan. Here's John. Jerry, sorry.
We're waiting on Ernie. I'll direct your attention to the right front tire changer, Joey Knuckles. Now he's going to remove a rubber spacer in the spring because Ernie has a serious push. Get the tire off. Now watch Joey Knuckles reaching underneath in the spring area, trying to pull the rubber out. He pulled the rubber out, and now he has the right side tires on. They go on the left side of the car. Have cleaned the front grill section. A lot of loose rubber laying in front of the car off that front grill. Left side tires going on the Hamilton Ford Thunderbird. He is off the jack and away.
24.3 second pit stop for Ernie Irvan.
Took a little bit of extra time to take that rubber out of that spring.
Tell you what, the condition must have been pretty bad because Ernie was falling back, and they felt like it was worth that extra 7 or 8 seconds to go ahead and get it done.
Jeff Gordon running in the 13th position, comes in for a pit stop. Service completed. He goes back out. Building up speed in that DuPont Chevrolet for Jeff Gordon. And there is Brett Bodine, who is in 2nd position.
I'll tell you what, Donnie Richardson and that crew better get ready because they need a great pit stop. If they get a 16-second 4-tire stop, he could take the lead from Mark Martin.
Right now it is a 1.3 second on-track interval between the leader Martin and 2nd place Brett. Riding with Mark.
He waved. I think that means he's coming in the pits.
Hensley passes into the Family Channel car. Let's see if Mark comes down off the banking, makes a pit stop.
No, he didn't come in the pits. I guess he was waving to him to
go ahead and pass.
He's going to back off to go ahead and pass on the inside.
Fresh tires on the Jimmy Hensley car. Mark continues to circulate, and we're looking back on Mark now from Morgan Shepherd's Citgo Ford.
And that car right behind Mark Martin is Brett Bodine. See that green car back there? That's Brett Bodine.
Yeah, he's really closing in.
Yep, he is closing in.
We understand that Mark Martin will come in 5 more laps. So we'll take a commercial break and be back for that important pit stop involving the leader, Mark Martin.
Welcome back to Darlington Raceway. You haven't missed a thing. The leaders of front two cars are on pit road. 2 Fords pitting, 6 on top, 26 on the bottom. Mark Martin getting right side tires. And also right side tires on Brett Bodine. Dale Earnhardt is also on pit road as Rusty Wallace has just gotten his 4 tires in the genuine draft Pontiac. The 2 cars already back on pit road. Left side tires going on the back of the Ford. Left side tires are already on the Quaker State Ford. Here's a drag race down pit road, and 26 and 6 are door to door. Looks like Brett Bodine will win that drag race as Dale Earnhardt is also in. Here's John Kernan. Jerry, a costly stop. The left front Will Lynn working on the left front tire. They had an air wrench so bad. They got a good air wrench over the wall, but they had a problem with the lug nut falling off. He had to put it on, and Earnhardt also has run over the air hose, but they had a problem with the air hose going bad, the air wrench going bad, so a long pit stop for Dale Earnhardt, but he finally does head down pit road.
Cost him a lot of track position because he was so slow coming out. There is Bodine, who did beat Mark Martin onto the track, but Mark tries to take the position back from Brett.
This might not be for the lead, but when it all shakes down, it will be for the lead.
Right.
And Mark Martin takes the position away from Brett Bodine.
And it is for the lead right now, too. Benny, as Morgan Shepherd pulls up on the inside of Brett Bodine, moves around him. Brett maybe a little bit of push in the Quaker State Ford or something after he put that set of tires on. Not as good as he had hoped they would be. Rick Mast is back on the track after losing 32 laps, and Dave Marcus has gone behind the wall on the backstretch pits.
And John Kernan has more on Dale Earnhardt's problem.
Well, Bob, I said it was a broken air wrench. We were standing behind Earnhardt's car. I was blocked out. What happened was he ran over the hose, and it was stuck there. So Will Lynn, when he came around after changing that right front tire, couldn't get the air wrench in position. So they had to throw another wrench over and then get the other hose out from under. So it wasn't a bad air wrench. It was the fact that Earnhardt actually pulled onto the air hose.
And it's cost him several positions. He's now back to 7th.
So he would be the last car on the lead lap.
Well, that's something you rarely see, as those guys in that pit, in the Goodwrench pit, make a mistake. They are so good when it comes to these pit stops.
A lot of traffic here on the front stretch. There's Earnhardt.
He's about a third of a lap behind or ahead of Mark Martin. Here comes Martin off turn 4. We saw Earnhardt go by a little bit ago as he puts another lap on Jeff Purvis in the Chevrolet.
And Rusty Wallace, he split 2 cars there on 3rd turn.
There's our pole sitter, Kenny Schrader, in the white 25. That's Rusty in the black number 2. He's in 4th place right now.
Schrader is 5th. Harry Gant is right there.
And then Earnhardt right behind them. A couple of cars between Bobby Hillin and Greg Sachs, who takes care of Greg Sachs. Now moves up on Bobby Hillin, but Hillin's up there in Earnhardt's groove.
Yeah, that's right. We can see that Earnhardt really doesn't run that well down on the bottom of the racetrack. He needs to be up on top.
Now
He's going to hit up there pretty soon.
Well, he's got to pass Schrader before he does that.
Yep.
And Bobby Hillin is going to pass Kenny, too. On the racetrack what he lost in the pit area. There's our remote control camera. Cars are zooming by it.
Looked by Jimmy Hensley, Family Channel car. Now here comes Earnhardt on the inside of Harry Gant.
Yeah.
Remember, Earnhardt's tires are a couple of laps fresher than Harry Gant's. Makes a big difference.
So that moves Earnhardt back to 5th now, back up to 5th.
We started this race at 4 o'clock, and of course one thing on everybody's mind was, would we be able to finish this race before darkness sets in? Now NASCAR has just told the teams that if we do get into a darkness situation, they will give everybody a 25-lap warning before they throw the checkered flag.
But that's at least an hour away, or maybe.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, about 7:30 Eastern time is when I would say they would have to consider stopping this race because of darkness. Mark Martin is the leader in the Valvoline Ford at Darlington Raceway. In downtown Darlington, South Carolina, there's a place called Liberty Lane. The handprints of all the previous winners of the races at Darlington are here. And that would include the gentlemen that are standing with me here in the booth, because both won on the track Too Tough to Tame, Benny Parsons and Ned Jarrett.
So here again, Neil Bonnet, Bill Elliott, Tim Richmond. Wow. Dale Earnhardt. There's the hands that hold that steering wheel on that number 3 car.
And Martin trying to put his in that.
Yeah. Martin has never won on this racetrack. The 55 car is very slow down in turn 1.
Yeah, it looks like the Jasper engine car has a serious problem because he was very, very slow.
Ted Musgrave was running 21st.
And he's pitting on the front stretch, guys. Will he be able to make it back around? He's moving at a pretty good clip, so he might be able to. Evidently, the engine is running, so he should be able to get it.
He wasn't able to make the race at Bristol last weekend. Now the Jasper Engines US Air Ford is off song here at Darlington, moving very slowly on the apron of the racetrack through turns 3 and 4.
This will be the driver of the Jack Rouse second car in 1994, Ted Musgrave. Meanwhile, another field summary. This is the Autolite Spark Plug field summary. 6 cars show 7 cars in the lead lap. There's the cars are a lap down. And Jimmy Spencer 2 laps down in 10th spot.
Dale Jarrett not doing bad in 9th.
Having a decent run.
Yeah, started way back in 27th.
Darrell Walter back in 30th, 7 laps down. Not one of Darrell's better Southern 500s. Remember, he won the race here last year.
Sure did. A rain delay.
We saw Dave Marcus up there, pardon me, Bob. I mentioned a moment ago that he was behind the wall on the backstretch. He's back out on the racetrack now. He's about 17 laps down. 16.
Walter won the rain-shortened Southern 500 here last year for his first win in that race, but he has won the Trans-South 500 4 times.
And Mark Martin is just driving away from Brett Bodine after that pit stop. Remember, they came back on the racetrack together. Brett Bodine leading, Mark Martin passed him, and look how far he has driven away since then.
Jerry, the 55 car of Ted Musgrave has gone behind the wall. Do you know what's wrong?
They apparently have a problem inside the engine. The engine began to sputter and miss and got worse and worse. They took the Jasper Engines car back to the garage area. Ted Musgrave is going to try to stay in the car. They're going to work on it, try to get him back out, but it doesn't look real good here in the late laps at Darlington.
So they'll try to get that car back out on the racetrack as Martin continues to set the pace. The second place, Brett Bodine, whose boss, Kenny Bernstein, of course, is going for a win at the U.S. Nationals NHRA drag race in Indianapolis this weekend.
And we can see he's coming off turn 4, and the third place car, Ernie Irvin, just now going in turn 3. Watch, this is turn 4. We won't see Ernie Irvin for a long time. That's how much of a lead he has on the third place car. Where's Ernie? There he is. Looked like Ernie Irvin was going to be the guy to beat that Havoline Ford when the race started, but not been able to keep the car handling like Mark Martin.
About a half a lap between the two, between first and second, or first and third, I should say.
We can take our camera and show you. There goes Ernie. Now we'll find Mark Martin. Wow, their guys are good, aren't they?
Yep. And Martin coming up on Kenny Schrader to put a lap on him. Schrader currently being shown in the 7th position. 7 cars on the lead lap, but that's about to change.
Inside with Mark Martin.
Martin has led 96 laps, Earnhardt 101. So Martin, if he continues to lead here, is going to take over the distinction of leading the most laps in this race, and he puts Ken Schrader, the pole sitter, a lap down. So now only 6 cars are on the lead lap with Mark Martin. Will he make it 4 consecutive wins in NASCAR Winston Cup competition? Thank you. Okay.
What happened to Jeff Bodine that he got 4 laps down? Jeff Bodine was being shown 4 laps down, and he was one of those that was up there that was just 1 lap down.
Oh, good. Boy, we're clicking them
I'll tell you
off.
what, Earnhardt's going to hit that wall up there in turn 1 and 2.
98 laps to go, huh?
Neil, we need to establish that how close Earnhardt's running to that wall, because he got to hit it sooner or later. Yeah. And Rusty's about to catch Ernie.
Excuse me.
See what I mean? All right, here we go. Down in turn 1. Earnhardt goes in the corner. Now the 26 getting closer, isn't he, Neil? Looks like 26 is getting a little closer, Neil.
Trackbacks are brought to you by new advanced high-tech formula Quaker State Motor Oil. It's formulated for today's high-tech engines.
Changes in cylinder head technology in the 90s has obligated Winston Cup teams to increase the RPMs of their engine to get adequate response and horsepower. Now, if you turn one of these engines over 8,700 RPMs for 500 miles, you're generating a lot of extra heat, and it's awfully tough on the valve train. Well, here at Roger Penske Racing South, take a look at Rusty Wallace's engine. Well, it seems like a very simple solution to that problem. Coming off the pressure side of the oil line are 2 separate lines going to the valve covers. Now, Don Miller, one of the owners of this team, it seems to me what you guys have done is developed a separate oiling system for the valve train.
That's correct, Jerry. What we've done is taken the pressure from the oiling system and directed it to the valve cover. We've welded in several aluminum lines and downspouts, which have small 30,000-inch holes drilled in them at these areas so that the oil can be directed directly at the valve springs and the valve train. The oil, the additional oil provided, reduces the heat in the valve train as well as provides extra lubrication.
So you're using both properties of oil, lubricant and coolant. What could have been a very disastrous problem has a very simple solution.
And there's your track fact for this week. Boy, I'm not sure that there is a simple way to beat this guy today. Mark Martin is leading the race.
Hey, I'm telling you, I don't know what that 26 car is gaining on him. Ned, you've been clocking, haven't you? Is Brett Bodine gaining on Mark Martin?
Now, as a matter of fact, he did for a little bit when Martin was in some traffic, and then he began to pull away once he got clear of the traffic.
Brett Bodine is second.
He is about 3 seconds behind right now, a little over 3 seconds.
We have had a change of third in the last few minutes. Rusty Wallace has passed Ernie Irvan for third place. And now we're looking for Dale Earnhardt.
There went Rusty Wallace. Here comes Ernie Irvan and Dale Earnhardt. This is 4th position.
Yeah, so Dale is going to pick up that position on Ernie Irvan. Fourth. Boy, Earnhardt just drives right up to the...
And almost got the car out of shape. Up high. And down in 1 and 2, he's driving as high, right up against that guardrail. Watch him, Bob, as he goes down in turn 1. Now he goes up the hill. Watch how close he gets to this wall. Oh, he didn't get close to it that time.
Not near as close as he has been.
John Kernan has a report on the Dale Earnhardt situation.
Well, Bob, the sun has gone behind some cloud cover over the last few minutes, and it's really cooled things off. And Richard Childers tells me as soon as the clouds moved in and got over the sun, that Earnhardt's car really picked up a bad push. That's why you see the lines that he's taken through the turns. So when they pit the next time, they plan to make a chassis adjustment, take a round of wedge out, and try and loosen the car up just a little bit.
So his looseness is taking the car right up the racetrack. Now, how about Brett Bodine, Jerry? I'm sorry, the Ernie Irvan car, Jerry.
Remember the last pit stop, guys? They took a rubber out of the right front, a rubber spacer. That was in the car number 28. He had a serious push. You know what they did? They made the car seriously loose. So now Ernie Irvan can't really handle it in the corners. He's dropped off the pace, and that's why you see some cars going by.
Yeah, he's dropped back to 6th position now and is the last car on the lead lap. Todd Bodine is right beside Ernie.
Harry again passed him just the last lap to take that 5th position away. Todd Bodine's car has been awfully good today. We talked about earlier, he now is several laps down as Phil Parsons goes by all these guys. Evidently Phil has been in and got in some fresh tires.
Boy, he just drove on around. So that car feels so good right now. I wish it would continue to do that, but he knows that in about 10 laps it will slow down and get slipping and sliding like everybody else.
That 30th position that's being shown for Todd Bodine is certainly not reflective of how well he and the car have run this afternoon. He's 8 laps down. Earnhardt again is right up on the wall.
Down the front straightaway, and we can see when he goes down in turn 1, he goes just in as high as he can to make that corner as round as possible. He doesn't want to have to turn the wheel to make a corner, make any kind of diamond shape in the corner. He wants to make it as round as possibly can because of that pushing condition.
Now, normally we don't run at this time of day here at Darlington. The sun is going to get further and further down on the horizon. Where is it going to create a problem for the drivers?
Going in turn 1. They're going to be driving right into the sun, and we probably, from our in-car cameras, can see when that sun, the clouds go away, just how tough it's going to be.
Here's Martin moving off. Oh, yeah, look at this as he's coming down the front stretch. Boy, it is almost impossible to see what's ahead of you. Tremendous amount of glare on the front end of that car until he reaches the shadows down in turn number 1. We'll be right back. We've only got 28 complete, Neil, so
Those guys cleaning the right side of that windshield, that glare is going to be a big problem. These guys cleaning the windshield really good that time. They even went around to the right side, but because the glare is getting to be a problem. Didn't the 75 just pit?
Yeah.
Pretty slow.
Welcome you back to the 43rd Annual Mountain Dew Southern 500. Getting ready for an early pit stop by Ernie Irvan in the car number 28. Remember, they took that rubber spacer out of the right front. That rubber spacer is about 150 pounds of extra pressure on the spring. They took that out, the car got very loose. So watch for them to put 2 rounds of fight to try to tighten the rear of the car up as the car comes down pit road for a 4-tire change. Here is Ernie Irvan, the car number 28. Right side tires coming off, left side lug nuts coming off. Crew member has a ratchet in the right part of the trunk lid. And now when I get the right side tires on, crew member going up, and he will put 1 round, 2 rounds of wedge in the car, 2.5 rounds of wedge in the car, puts the bike. He is down and away in 18.4 seconds.
Well, that was a great pit stop to do all they did. They changed 4 tires, put in the fuel, and make an adjustment on the chassis.
It was a great pit stop.
Continues to be held by Mark Martin, and the average speed is almost 4 miles an hour now above the race record. We're averaging 139.1. The race record is 135.4. Only 2 cautions, both of them came early, and neither was for any accident. And Martin's last 6 race average finish 3.5. He was 2nd at New Hampshire, 13th at Pocono, 3rd at Talladega, and he has won the last 3 NASCAR Winston Cup events.
Here's Bobby Labonte in the Maxwell House car. He just made a pit stop, changed tires, so he comes out and blows by our leader. I'll tell you what, those guys, Ernie Irvan, when he came in, there's right now about 80 laps to go. He's going to have to make two more pit stops, whereas Mark Martin is only going to have to make 2 more pit stops. So we're getting down to the situation right now that you don't want to pit too soon because it's going to make you make an extra pit stop.
Yep, it's something they have to consider. We understand that Earnhardt maybe is going to try to make it to, what, 302, and we're at 289, working the 290th lap right now.
That's about 14 more laps.
Let's go to the pits and John Kernan for more on that.
Yeah, Ned, I was just talking to Richard Childress. I also talked to Button Parrish, crew chief for Rusty Wallace. They're looking at 301 and 302. If they can hang on and go that distance, they can go the rest of the way. They would only need 1 more pit stop. So that's what we're going to look for them to do. That's the strategy right now.
We'll see if the strategy works out for them.
Yeah, I was talking about maybe 2 more pit stops, only 1 more pit stop, where Ernie Irvan will have to make 2.
He'll have to make 1. He just made 1 and have to make 1 more.
Exactly.
And Jerry Punch has more on this pit strategy that's playing out.
They are still calculating here at the Valvoline pits. Here's what they're up against. They believe NASCAR will shorten the race. They will not run complete 367. That's what they believe here in the Valvoline pits. Steve Mills said the sun is going down. The shadows are getting longer. They think that NASCAR will be concerned about the drivers being able to see and shorten the race. So they're going to try to stay out and do some calculations. They think they can make 2 more stops and stay on fresh tires, but they haven't decided yet when they're going to bring him in.
Well, there's a consideration that I hadn't thought of, and I'm not sure if I agree with that strategy because we've only got, 76 laps to go?
Yeah, 76 more laps to go, and we've got another hour to do that. Yeah. But still, that's another 100 miles. Of course, we're averaging 140 miles an hour, so it really shouldn't be a problem to finish unless we start having caution play.
Right.
That would be the key.
Mark Martin continuing to lead here over Brett Bodine. Rusty Wallace is running 3rd, Dale Earnhardt 4th, and Ricky Rudd is 5th. Riding with Ricky Rudd as he pulls out of the pit area after having made a pit stop, and you can see that the windshield was clean, but the visibility isn't all that great. He gives up 6th position to make the stop.
And guys, right now we're getting a terrific break, or these drivers are. The clouds have moved over the sun, and we're not driving into that sun down the front straightaway, so visibility is pretty good now.
Yeah, they're not blinded the way we saw Mark Martin a little bit earlier. As they go into that turn, you don't have that tremendous glare.
Mark Martin's crew is still talking about it. Remember, Steve Neal said he thinks the race is going to be shortened because of darkness. Jerry, now, are they rethinking this strategy?
Apparently they're going to hedge their bet a little bit and just make this stop in about 2 to 3 laps and hope that they can make it on this final stop on fuel all the way if the race were to go the complete 367 laps. They've made a decision on calculations. Jack Roush, who is the team owner and engine builder, he's on top of this engine or pit card here. He does the calculations on fuel. They have made a calculation. He looks at his chart one more time, and then they make a pit stop in 2 laps. They should be able to make it, maybe. So they're going to bring him in about 2 laps for what would be his final scheduled stop.
And that would be on lap 300. 298 have been completed. By the way, Mark has led 127 of them.
Terry Labonte's car is very slow off the pace. He's running on about 6 cylinders. You can see the smoke coming from the Kellogg Chevrolet as he runs down on the inside of the racetrack.
Here comes Mark Martin. He's decided to come in the pits.
Jerry Punchy is headed toward you. Mark Martin on pit road.
And for those of you with calculators at home, 67 laps times 1.366 miles. How far does he have to go? You figure it out yourself. It's going to be awfully close. And this is the final pit stop for the man who has been Mr. August, Mark Martin. 3 in a row in victory lane, and he brings the Valvoline Ford to a stop on pit road. Right side tires, very, very important to clean the windshield. Now Brett Bodine is also in. He is on the bottom of your screen. That's Brett Bodine's Quaker State Ford. Mark Martin getting left side tires. Now they move to the left side of the Quaker State Ford. Left side lug nuts being fastened. Martin revving the engine. He is off the jacks and away. And Brett Bodine still up on the jack on the left side. Left front, a little bit of a problem. Now here is Brett Bodine off the jack. He's heading back to turn 1.
Well, Jerry, they'll have about a little over 89 miles to go with 67 laps. Fuel will not be a problem for them.
Morgan Shepherd is in with the Citgo 4. They're changing the right side on that car. And Dale Earnhardt is also in. John Kernan, he's headed toward you.
Dale Earnhardt slowly pulls the GM Goodwin Lumina. Richard Childers will loosen it up. Remember with the sun, with the clouds over, the racetrack had tightened up for Dale Earnhardt. He picked up that terrible push. Right side tires going on. Jack is already down. Andy Petrie, the crew swing around. David Smith, 2 quick pumps on the 3 pumps. The car is up in the air. Left side tires going on. No mistakes this time. They're not going over air hose. 19.6 seconds. A very good stop for Dale Earnhardt.
Under 20 seconds. An excellent stop for the Dale Earnhardt crew. Down on the racetrack.
This leaves Rusty Wallace in the lead in the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac.
There he is.
He should be coming in before too long.
Yep, right now, because Rick Wilson passes on the high side as Rusty comes down off the 23 degrees of banking in the 3rd and 4th turns. Oh, he's a little sideways coming off the corner. Here's John Kernan.
Maybe just a little bit anxious, Bob. They picked up that 5 bonus points for leading the lap. Not really too bad on that front grille. They'll go to work cleaning the windshield on the driver's side. They'll also change right side tires. We're not anticipating a chassis adjustment. Second can of gasoline going in. Team swinging into action on the left side. Buddy Parrott handing that left front tire in. They get it down and away. 17.9 seconds. Unbelievable.
Poetry in motion. You can't do it any better than that. 17.9.
You're right. You really can't do it any better than Buddy Parrott and that crew make their pit stops on this Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac. They are just awesome.
There is Mark Martin.
He's now back in the lead.
Yep, with Rusty's pit stop. Mark is back in front of the 44th annual Mountain Dew Southern 500. And we'll be back in a moment. Ooh, they got the hood up on Jeff's car. Something's hot.
Trying to put some water in it.
Yep. Look at that coming out the overflow. Yeah. Well, that sounds good. That sounds real good. Now, Neil, quit saying that or I'll have to. ESPN Speed World is being brought to you by new advanced high-tech formula Quaker State Motor Oil. It's formulated for today's high-tech engines. And by Allied Signals Autolite Spark Plugs, guaranteed for 2 years no matter how far you go. Mark Martin is leading the Southern 500 at Darlington Raceway in South Carolina with 308 laps out of 367 completed. Here is Ernie Irvan and Rusty Wallace battling on the racetrack for what? Third?
Third place. Ernie Irvan had it. Rusty Wallace does now.
I think that's for fourth place, fourth and fifth.
It is?
Yep. Mark Martin leads.
Yep.
Brett Bodine is second. Harry Gant.
I'm sorry.
Third place.
Yes, Harry Gant is in third place.
Harry made a pit stop before some of the others. Got him, picked up several seconds on while he was running on fresh tires. Of course, that'll change as he runs on down towards the end of that stop. He'll slow down. Jeff Purvis was black flagged, apparently going too fast on pit road. Had to come back in and goes back out once again.
Another Autolite field summary for you. I might mention that during the commercial break, Jeff Gordon came in and had a long pit stop. They apparently were experiencing some overheating problems. They put some water in the car, but he was in quite a while.
We see how far the way that Rusty Wallace has pulled from Ernie Irvan in just a lap or two. Here comes Dale Earnhardt. He wants to take that position away from Irvan.
Now remember again, Irvan made his pit stop a good bit earlier than did Wallace and Earnhardt. Wallace was the last of those cars to make a pit stop, so he has the freshest tires on his car. Irvan has the oldest.
Earnhardt closing in on him.
We're probably passing right coming off of turn 4.
Right here?
Yep.
Earnhardt to fifth.
And I think Harry pitted soon enough that he will have to pit before the race is over if, in fact, we run 367 laps.
Yeah, I think he'll have to pit again. I don't think there's any doubt about it.
Right now, of course, Mark would continue to eat into Dale Earnhardt's lead. In fact, he would go to second in the points if they were awarded right now, and Rusty Wallace would be third.
And I talked about the clouds moving in just a moment ago. I wonder if there's any rain. I guess there's any rain in those clouds.
No, I don't think so. Here's Ricky Rudd, who is running 8th.
I tell you what, that NASCAR monitor in their booth sure helps. Remember, used to when we tried to figure out where anybody was running?
Yeah, you had to count on your hands and look at each other and
and guess them.
Yeah, right.
We had to depend on Ned really because he could keep track of it. I couldn't. There again, Rick Mast had a great run going today until that unscheduled pit stop. Had to go behind the wall and put a new rear end in the car, new gear in the car.
And he just came out of this with 4 new tires on the car. You can see him zip by Ricky Rudd. Rudd being shown in the 8th position right now, 1 lap behind the leaders.
And Mast is all the way back in 33rd. Almost 4 miles an hour above the track record. And speaking of overheating problems, look like that Rick Wilson is experiencing such.
Wow.
It's on the backstretch. You see Dave Marcus back there as well.
That looks like a brake. No, I guess there's water there.
It's steaming wherever it's coming from.
And there's our leader, Mark Martin.
About to come up and put another lap on Dale Jarrett, who is 9th.
You know, if he wins this thing today, no one is going to win any of the R.J. Reynolds money.
Yeah, that's right.
The Winston Million, even the $100,000 is going by the wayside.
Yep. Get to save all that money.
They probably would prefer to pay it off, get more publicity out of it anyway.
Yep.
There's Irvin.
He had a chance at $100,000. Looked like he might have a chance earlier on, but right now it looks like his hopes are fading. Bobby Hillin goes down on the apron and goes by her.
Now Rusty Wallace has caught Harry Gant for third place. Gant's tires are older. Rusty has the freshest tires of anybody on the racetrack that's in the lead lap.
Those of you tuning in for NFL Prime Time, it is 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Stay with us. At the conclusion of this race, that program will be on with Chris Berman before our coverage of Major League Baseball at 8 o'clock, 1 hour from now. So hang in there for NFL Prime, giving you the results of all the games that were played today in the National Football League.
Well, we see Rick Wilson back out there running again after making that pit stop with his team coming out of the STP Pontiac on the backstretch. Moves over, makes Earnhardt go by on the outside.
And Earnhardt sees Harry Gant up in front of him. That's for fourth spot.
There's Martin, who has just passed Michael Waltrip. He's running in 14th position.
He must be a couple of laps down now. And there goes Earnhardt by
yeah.
Harry Gant.
This is the battle for position. Hale's got it. And Rick Wilson,
With those fresh tires on, just drives under Harry. Harry's been out there quite a while on those tires, and as Benny said, he's going to have to make another pit stop when this race is over. Because he pitted about, I don't know, I'm thinking about 12 or 14 laps before Earnhardt and Mark Martin did.
got a glimpse of that left side damage on Gant's car that was sustained during an on-pit road incident with Ricky Rudd early on in the race.
Well, you can see Gant's tires are slipping up the track for him.
Ooh, we saw him
slipping off the
slip.
track. Yeah. Back in and slipping around a little bit.
Well, you can see the visibility is not very good out the front of this Ricky Rudd car. Besides that, the visibility is getting a little low because of darkness, Jerry.
It is that, Bob. In fact, we were told that some of the crews have commented on it. In fact, I'm standing here in the Valvoline crew where Steve Mill is standing by with me. And Steve, there's some concern over the visibility here.
Well, with 100 to go, Mark said he didn't think he could make it on visibility, but he hasn't said a thing about it here lately. He's got a good lead. If it goes to the end, we gambled that it wouldn't. So we're kind of be short on fuel. We might have to make another stop, but so would everybody else. So we're not real worried about it. It's getting darker. They may go and they may not.
A lot of teams out here have already complained that it is getting a little bit darker. It's amazing the teams that are complaining are the ones that got to stop again. That's a surprise, isn't it?
Oh, by the way, Harry Gant just made a pit stop.
That should be his last pit stop. Yeah. Should be able to make it from here on as Rusty Wallace moves up on, Earnhardt moves up on Rusty Wallace for the third position.
Yeah, this is the battle for third. Rusty and Dale. Right now, Rusty holds on to that spot while Mark Martin continues to lead and Brett Bodine runs in second.
You heard Steve Mill comment they may not be able to make it all the way on gas. When they made that pit stop, there were 67 laps to go times 1.366 miles. It's about 89 miles they had to go. What they were doing was Jack Roush was calculating the fuel. In fact, they would have pitted 3 or 4 laps earlier because they were losing valuable time on worn tires, but they had to wait and hope they could make it on fuel. They waited an extra 3 laps, and even now, they may not make it. By their calculations, it's going to be very, very close.
Okay.
Dale going to the pitch back there. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
Martin going to lead the most laps today?
He just did. That's what they're showing me.
I got you.
Mark Martin continues to lead the Mountain Dew Southern 500 and has just locked up the 5 bonus points for leading the most laps. Here is the best battle on the racetrack. It is Rusty Wallace trying to pass Dale Earnhardt.
Trying to repass Dale Earnhardt while we were at break. Earnhardt passed Rusty Wallace. Meanwhile, our pole sitter Kenny Schrader is on pit road. Changing right sides. Now go around changing left sides. Filling the car up with fuel.
They're finished with the pit stop. Good stop by the Kodiak crew, and Ken Schrader moves back out onto the racetrack.
Of course, that should be his last pit stop. He was in the 6th position, 1 lap behind the leaders. Put him another lap down, but he should be set to go the rest of the way.
The fastest race that has ever been run in this particular event was in 1989. 135.462 miles an hour was the average set by Dale Earnhardt. We're above that today, but Earnhardt isn't leading it.
No, he's running 3rd right now. We see he's getting away from Rusty Wallace.
Bobby Labonte in the ditch, being shown in 11th position.
There we see Bobby Labonte. Had a great qualifying run.
He started this race in 3rd spot.
Greg Sachs in. The pit road behind the Maxwell House Ford and Bobby Labonte. He gets his service and heads back out, so he should be set for the rest of the race.
Once again is the battle for 3rd position. Earnhardt and Wallace running 2nd now as Brett Bodine is Martin 3rd and 4th right here.
I said that Earnhardt was getting away from Rusty Wallace. I think I lied. Like Rusty's hanging in there pretty good.
Yep.
In fact, there's a little bit of a surprise that Earnhardt was able to come up and pass Rusty, because Rusty does have the freshest tires on. We've mentioned that several times, but maybe this set of tires were not matched quite as good as the ones before, and he's not running quite as fast. Maybe it's picking back up now.
There is Brett Bodine, and he is in 2nd position with 35 laps to go. And Donnie Richardson is the chief mechanic of the race from Western Auto. Donnie is the crew chief on this Quaker State Ford. He wins the honors today.
And I'd say that's an honor well deserved.
Yes, it is.
A great run for this 26 car today.
We mentioned earlier that Brett's best finish this year is 5th at Pocono in July, so he's going to up that considerably if he continues to hang in there in 2nd spot.
Dave Marcus apparently with a little fresher tires. There comes Dale Jarrett up. He does have fresher tires. He just made a pit stop a couple of laps ago, and so he has fresh tires. He'll blow Brett off here pretty quickly.
We're getting down to it. Just 34 laps to go. NASCAR told us that what? Give them a 25 lap warning if they was going to end the race. Well,
they're going to have to do it in 9 laps.
Yeah, really.
This thing is going to go to the end. It may be a little dark, but it's going to go to the end.
We mentioned that Mark Martin has locked up the 5 extra points for leading the most laps. This is the 4th time in the 22 races of 93 that he has led the most laps.
About to put a lap on Ernie Irvan right now as they go into turn 1.
There he has a lap on Ernie Irvan.
Irvan in 5th position.
And the Haviland crew is waiting on Irvan to make his final pit stop. That should come soon.
Believe me, it's going to come real soon. He's not going to stay out there on worn tires, especially a lap down. He's going to come in quickly, like right now.
Because he could lose other positions.
Whoa! And he overshot entrance to the pits. He was just going too fast and locked up
and
the
they throw the caution. The caution flag is out.
And
for only the 3rd time.
Yep, he got the car going, but the caution was already waving. Well, this is going to be a break for a lot of people. It'll be a bad break for Harry Gant, Dale Jarrett,
Kenny Schrader,
those that have made green flag pit stops. Now the others are going to come in and make yellow flag pit stop. Dick Trickle trying to get a lap back here.
And he will or won't. Yep, I think he did by inches.
Well, actually, you know, Ned, that could have helped Ernie because he's only 1 lap down. If he had made the pit stop, a clean pit stop, he would have been 2 laps down.
Yeah, it could help him. That's true. Yep.
Here he comes, and I think he decided all of a sudden late to make a pit stop. There's sand, there's debris down there. He gets in that, and around he goes like I did about 20 years ago.
You?
Yeah, I did.
Well, it's only our 3rd caution of the day. But it comes at a time when many drivers needed a pit stop, the final one of the race. They're going to get it now under caution. Let's go to Jerry Punch.
Ernie's big problem the last maybe 115 laps has been the car has been very, very loose. You saw him take the rubber out early in the right front. They put a couple rounds away. That didn't cure the problem. They were going to go ahead and bring him in that time. And Ernie was so loose in the corner with the rear of the car that when you hit the brake pedal to come in, the car just scooted around. That's how bad the car has been most of the afternoon for Ernie Irvan. And here are the leaders on the pit road. 6 at the top of your screen, 26 on bottom. Valvoline Ford on top, Quaker State Ford on the bottom. And Dale Earnhardt is also on pit road. Left side tires. Split screen. Now you see the left side tires going on the Valvoline Ford. Likewise, left side tires going on the Quaker State Ford. Mark is off the jackie ground. And so is Rick Bodine. So it'll be Martin and then Bodine back to turn 1 in that order. Here is Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt as Pontiac and Chevrolet will follow him back to turn 1. And they are still waiting here in the pits for Ernie Irvan in the Haviland Ford.
Well, those that are on the lead lap have made their final pit stops. There is the shot of Mark Martin as he tries to get a little air into that car, cooling himself off and getting ready for the final run to the checkered. Bob Jenkins, Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, John Kernan, and Dr. Jerry Punch back late on a Sunday afternoon at Darlington Raceway in South Carolina. It rained here today, delaying this Mountain Dew Southern 500 3 hours. When they get the green flag in a half a lap, it'll be lap 342, and we'll have 25 laps to go. Mark Martin is the leader of this race, looking for his 4th consecutive NASCAR Winston Cup win. Here's Jerry Punch.
Well, they just told the teams that when they get the green flag, it'll be 10 laps to go. They just told the teams it'll be 10 laps to go, and the race will be over. It'll be 10 laps, it'll be 9 laps white, then checkered. So that's what they told the Valvoline and all the teams in the lead lap. This will be a 10-lap shootout here as they get the green flag.
So instead of 25, we will have 10 laps to go. The crowd has not wavered. They have been here since early this morning when it was pouring down rain, and now they watch the final 10 laps of the 44th annual Mountain Dew Southern 500. Can Mark Martin hold on for 10 laps and win his 4th consecutive Winston Cup event? Let's see. Scramble for position is on. Ernie Irvan is a lap down. Don't forget that in the 28 car.
There's a couple other cars a lap down too, so he at least wants to stay in front of those cars.
Comes Earnhardt passing the lapped car of Ricky Rudd, but right ahead of him now is Brett Bodine, who is 2nd. 8 to go.
And don't you know, every one of these guys is trying just as absolutely hard as they possibly can.
Every position is valuable, especially the Dale Earnhardt here, who is the points leader, but has seen his points lead eaten away by red-hot Mark Martin. Earnhardt trying to take second place from Brett Bodine with 6 to go. Earnhardt goes up the racetrack, as he has done so many times, right against the wall.
Almost every lap today, Earnhardt's been up against that retaining wall. Adjusting his driving style to the way his car...
and
he's in the wall. Earnhardt's in the wall. Heavy damage up there in 3 and 4. Now he's going to try to bring it in. How much damage is it to the car?
He'll just drive her right on to the end of the race, though.
He lost his chance there to get second place.
And there goes third place, Rusty Wallace.
Rusty is now third, Dale back to fourth.
And all these cars are on the lead lap, so right now he just needs to back off and let them go. Just finish the race.
We will have a new record speed, 137.706. There are 4 laps to go now. Here's how Dale Earnhardt got up high and bumped the wall in 3.
Goes in turn 3, goes right up to the top of the racetrack. The back end catches the wall. He goes up and gets the front end some heavy damage to this Goodrich Chevrolet.
John, what happened?
Dale has radioed in and told Richard Childress that the 26 car of Brett Bodine is leaking out some fluid out of the overflow. Apparently a little overheating there. He got into it and got up into the wall. He hasn't really said just how badly damaged the car is, but as you can see, it is not as fast as it was. In fact, Andy Petrie has just told him to just hang on, try and finish the race.
Yeah, he's going to finish in 4th position unless the car stops and he loses a lap. But chances are that's not going to happen because there are only 3 laps to go.
2, isn't it 2?
Yeah, 2 laps to go.
When they get back to next time.
Oh, back to next time too? Okay. All right, we'll see. Whenever we get the white flag, we'll know there's 1 to go.
That's right.
You guys are right, because Joel Ford is giving the signal right now. 2 laps to go to Mark Martin.
Cale Yarborough won 4 in a row in 76. Waldrop did in 81. Earnhardt did in 87. Gant did in 91. Elliott in 92. And now Mark Martin is about to win his 4th in a row.
And to win the Southern 500, Ned, you know this has to be one of the happiest moments of this young man's life.
No doubt about it. As we've said so many times, this is one of the toughest tracks on the circuit, and if you can beat this track on any given day, it's one of the greatest feelings of accomplishment that you can have. The white flag is out to Mark Martin right now.
1 more lap to go for Mark Martin. This will be his 11th career NASCAR Winston Cup win. It'll be his 4th of this year. And it's his first win ever at this grand old racetrack that has been hosting a NASCAR Winston Cup race on Labor Day weekend since 1950.
And Earnhardt took the white flag, so he will be credited with 4th spot, even though the car shouldn't get back, but it will get back. And Mark Martin wins.
Mark Martin's express continues. He has won 4 in a row. Mark Martin continues to eat into the points lead of Dale Earnhardt for the 1993 NASCAR Winston Cup Championship. A great win. Stay tuned for NFL Prime Time. Later on SportsCenter, we'll have a winner interview and give you the points, but we have to get off the air because Chris Berman is standing by with NFL Prime Time. Thank you for being with us. Mark Martin wins here at Darlington. Now here is Chris Berman. Boy, that's the best run for Brett Bodine in a long time.
Sure is.
Long time.
Tell Mark say hi to Cindy for me.
Thank you.
The hot streak continues for Mark Martin. He is in victory lane for the 4th consecutive time. In victory lane, here's Jerry Punch.
We called him Mr. August. He might just be Mr. September as well. Mark Martin, congratulations on win number 4 in a row.
Thanks, Jerry. Man, this is great. Arlene and Matt, I wish y'all could have been here. This Valvoline team, Ford, it's just great. I mean, it's just meant to be. We ran pretty good today and had great pit stops, and those long green runs were really in our favor because this thing just stayed on the tires and just kept on digging.
Mark, they're all special, but to win the Mountain Dew Southern 500, this is the granddaddy of them all. As you get a big hug from Jack Roush, this one has to be very special.
This one's very special. I tend to say that, you know, a win's a win, but to make it 4 in a row, it's special, man. I tell you, these guys have worked for it, and they deserve it, and it's a dream come true. I didn't really expect to be able to beat the odds today. Now we're going to go to Richmond and try it some more.
What about the points battle now? A month and a half ago, you were not even in the top 10. Now you possibly moved into 2nd place and are gaining on Earnhardt.
Not enough, though. Oh, really? He's going to have to break a few more times, and then maybe we can make a race out of it. I'm real proud of this team. We're on a roll right now, and we can't wait to go to Richmond.
Officially, he's 307 points behind Dale Earnhardt in 2nd place. Mark, congratulations.
Thank you.
Mark Martin in victory lane here for the Mountain Dew Southern 500.
And the unofficial results of this event here today. Brett Bodine, his best finish of the year is 2nd. Rusty Wallace 3rd. Earnhardt finished in 4th position after bumping the wall late. Ernie Irvan in his debut with the Haviland team is 5th. Ricky Rudd, Harry Gant, Morgan Shepherd, Ken Schrader, and Wally Dallenbach complete the top 10. And there we see the remainder of the line of the finish here at the Mountain Dew Southern 500. The points are indeed closing in. Rusty Wallace maintains 2nd in the points, but only by 3 over Mark Martin. Dale Jarrett remains 4th, and Morgan Shepherd is 5th in the NASCAR Winston Cup point standings for 1993. Our next telecast of a NASCAR Winston Cup race will be Sunday, September 26th in 3 weeks at 12:40 Eastern Time, the Goodies 500 from Martinsville Speedway in Virginia, where Rusty Wallace is the defending champion. Again, our congratulations to Mark Martin, for Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, John Kernan, and Dr. Jerry Punch. This is Bob Jenkins. Thank you for joining us. So long, everyone.